Yo, we locked in, y'all. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up?
Peace.
Peace to all the people on the chat.
Yo, shout it out, everybody. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. We locked in. I'm here with my co-host, Mikey B. KK will be with us shortly. We have a very, as you would expect, a very informative discussion today. We're going to be calling on a panel of individuals. I'm not going to introduce anybody yet. I'm going to keep the suspense there. I'm going to just have our brothers sitting in there, and ain't nobody going to know anybody until we just start introducing our brothers, man. But we got an esteemed panel today in which we're going to be talking about the topic of reentry. Okay, we see another brother just pulled up. How you doing, my brother?
What's up, bro?
Walaikum salam. We're not going to even start. I just told these people we ain't even going to start introducing people yet. We just going to keep everybody in suspense. They just gonna like, who these people here? You feel what I'm saying? So hold on. Let me make sure everybody there. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Right back at you, Mark Gasson. Right back at you, my brother.
We're gonna have another epic show for y'all today. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of guys, we were with. We're gonna save some introductions and stuff in prison, and we're gonna talk about the whole reentry, the challenges of reentry, how to become successful and coming back to the streets, and dealing with reentry from a prison perspective. And let me tell you something. A lot of people can use this that weren't even in prison. If you weren't in prison and you just outside of everything that's going on in the community and society, you could use this information to reconnect yourself and, to gain a stronghold and a foundation to better your life. So we're going to have a great show today.
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're going to have a great show.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm honored to be here, man. Thank you, brothers, for having me, man. Really appreciate you, brothers. And I admire this platform that you brothers created. I'm very proud of y'all, man.
It's facts, bro. It's facts, man. We came a long way, Will. You heard?
Yup.
Came a long way. G-Mac, Yellow Brim, what's up? Baghdad TV, Seven Guard, what's up? What's going on? Mark Gatson. How you pronounce that? Sadie B?
Sadie B?
Sadie B, what's up?
That's my cousin right there.
We locked in.
Okay, they showing mad love.
John Shaft, 139.
You're going to see a lot of people pull up.
Dope. Yeah, that's a fact. K&B group of family, salute to y'all too. You already
Cuba.
know. You know
Shout
how
out, Cuba. Yo, hit the link so we can let you in.
Hey, yo, that's Cuba right there.
But which Cuba? I know a bunch of Cubas.
I know a few of them as well.
Anytime Television, what's up, bro?
Salute.
You already know Cuba. Salute to her love. Anytime Television, what's good, bro? What's going on? We got another epic show for y'all, man. You hit that like button. You hear him? On the come through, hit that like button. Jalil Mutakim is free. That's right. Salute the big brother.
Yes.
Yo, Will, remember when he came to our class, Will?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I remember the brother.
Yo.
That's the elder there.
What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Wayne? Yo, come on. You got to get on, Hodge.
The brothers, man, we got a crazy great panel right now, man.
That's guys... right. May Butch Harvey rest in peace. That's right. The police killed Butch Harvey and Clinton back in Comstock back in 1981. That's a fact. He was one of the elders, man. That's right. The police choked him out and killed him.
Crazy.
Another unsolved murder of a black man in America.
You said Clinton?
Nah, that was in Comstock back in 81.
Crazy.
That's what preceded the riot over there back in the day. All right. So as my brother Mikey B was stating to everybody that's tuned in right now, we got a few more panelists coming on. We're waiting for individuals to pull up right now. We wanted to basically, talk about something that is dear to us all. And that is the issue, not so much of incarceration, because let me just state this for the record, right? A lot of times when you hear us speak about incarceration, it's not to glorify our past. Many of us made poor decisions in our earlier years, and we've been fortunate to be able to make the transition back out here to society. So to the youth who's listening out there, we're not glorifying prison. We know that if you're out there and you're doing what you're doing, these are choices that you have to make, right? But these choices come with consequences. All right, these consequences could lead to you ending up in a jail cell. All right, or they can lead to you being in a coffin. If you're all right with that, again, I'm not here to tell nobody how to live their life. That's you. You feel what I'm saying? I lived my life, and it cost me 25 years of my time in prison. So I would prefer to get that 25 years back. But that was my story. All right, you're gonna have your own story. Your story is gonna be about you, and you're gonna have to determine how you're gonna live your life. All right. So this panel these panelists are individuals who we know very well. We all spent time together in the Shawanga Correctional Facility. All right. 3 of these individuals are here right now. One is our brother Mozzie. How you doing, Mozzie?
I'm well, bro. Thanks for the invitation.
Man, it's an honor to have you here, my brother. Another one here is our brother, my elder, Wayno. Yo, Wayno, what's up, my
Peace, Kings. How y'all doing?
Love, brother. You already know. All is well.
What's up,
I didn't
Wayno?
realize that was Wayno. My camera's so small.
Hi, what's up, Mozzie?
My camera's tiny over here.
I was looking at Mozzie. I'm like, damn, I recognize the brother. Then I hear the name, Mozzie, man. What's up, brother?
Mozzie was the man in Shawanga.
Yo,
it wasn't until he said Will that I realized.
That was my lawyer right there, you heard?
Right.
Yo, man, I salute you, brother. You was putting in a whole lot of work, man. I admire you.
Massive work, bro. Great dude. Great guy.
Appreciate it, bro.
And
my camera's tiny over here.
And then
I'm like, damn, I recognize the brother.
Nah, let's see, KK. You gotta fix that.
Okay, you gotta fix that, KK. That's on your end.
Yeah,
and let me introduce our brother. Let me introduce our brother Will to the scene. Will, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam, man. I'm really excited to be here, man. Thank you, brothers, for having me, man.
Yeah, man. And then I know one of our other brothers did not pull up, but our brother Haji just pulled up. What's up, Haji? Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Haji, salam alaikum, brother.
Peace and blessings.
Oh, that's Haji?
Yeah, that's Haji.
Okay.
Hey, what's good? Y'all can see me good?
All right.
I know you're not in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Peace, bro. Peace, God.
Yeah, I'm open.
The brother is on the phone.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in
More, I love
the
you, bro.
man.
Peace, bro.
Yo, so all right, so everybody was asked to come. Was to come like a few brothers. One brother, Abdul Khabir, at the moment he is currently working right now. He told me that he would be here, but that he would tell his boss that he needed time to basically come so that we can talk. The purpose of this panel, a lot of people don't know. Those of us who are listening out here, to our listeners, we all were in Shawanga together, all of us, right? Everybody that's on this panel, we were all in Shawanga Correctional Facility. Many of us came to Shawanga at different points, but I got there in 2016. I bumped into Mikey B. Haji was already there. Mozzie was already there. Will, I think, came a little bit later after me.
Nah, I was there.
Will was there already.
Will was there. I apologize. Will was there.
I'm fucking with you, brother.
Yo, now I apologize. I know that at some point, we was all there together. I know this group here was all there together. Now, I just wanted us to have this conversation, right? Because, like I said, we don't want to glorify the incarceration piece, but, there's individuals out there who need to know more about the people who we are today, right? There's been a recent incident that took place just recently where a lady was pushed onto the subway by an individual who was on parole. So I wanted us to come together, and she lost her life tragically. And I'm sorry about that. And the reason why I wanted to basically bring us up here was because here are individuals who were at one time incarcerated, who are now out here providing for their families, being productive members of society. And we wanted to have that discussion about how we were able to make the preparation to come out here and some of the successes and challenges that we've encountered since being back out here as well. So there's many questions that we have. I think I know Wayno said that he has to leave early, so I'm basically gonna I think it's only appropriate that we start with him. So Wayne, I think my first question to you is, where are you from first and foremost, and not to get into the particulars of your case or anything like that, but how much time did you spend in prison, and then what helped you get prepared to make that transition from prison?
Well, I'm from the Bronx. I did 25 years, and what made me start to transition my life was when I made a decision to leave the gang lifestyle alone. Once I made that decision to leave that alone and no longer be selfish towards my family and focus on my freedom, that's when everything started to turn around, as well as me submitting myself to Islam. That was a big factor as well.
Okay, all right. And in terms of if you're not speaking, brothers, can you please mute yourself so that Mikey B and I don't hear the feedback? And with respect to you making the transition, briefly, what are some of the challenges and some of the things you might have endured on your transition back out to society?
Well, my biggest I wouldn't say hurdle that I had to overcome was coming home to somebody or a household that wasn't in my best interest. And as much as my family members told me, why you doing that? Don't do it. I still did it. And by the grace of Allah, I got out of that, because if I didn't, I could see myself back in prison. Not for something that I did, but just based on the lifestyle that they was living. They was so used to something that I wasn't accustomed to, that when I wasn't providing that for them, then it became an issue in the household. Once it became an issue, I had to just depart ways, like pack my shit up and say, that's it, I'm out of here.
Oh,
and
so you saying that most of your issues, unbeknownst to you at the time you were incarcerated, was that most of those issues happened in your own household?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been working since I came home. I was even working when I was in that situation. But once I decided to leave that situation alone and come back down here to the Bronx, everything been going good for me. Own place, car, license, great job. Actually, 2 jobs. So that's just a blessing of me making a decision that I got to part ways from this household.
Wow, I'm glad that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I see our brother Abdul Khabir, Jersey's finest, just pulled up. He's at work right now. Assalamu alaikum. Can you on mute? You on mute, Sheikh? Take your mute off.
Oh, alaikum assalam.
We can't hear you, Abdul Khabir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, my brother. How you been?
Alhamdulillah, Allah is merciful. I'm at work right now, doing what Allah asks for to do for the man. Allah says the man obligation to maintain. And alhamdulillah, just striving, bro. You know.
So just for the record, you're on this panel right now with Mikey B, Moshe, KK, Will, Wayno, Haji, and Mozzie. And we
My brother froze up right now.
Yeah.
But how does it feel to be on a panel with all of us 3?
You know, it's a blessing always to see my brothers and see my brothers doing something that is positive as well as lucrative, that can benefit the people emotionally, spiritually, as well as physically. And at the same time, remembering where we have come from. Because once we remember where we come from, we know where we're trying to get to. And many of you that know me personally, you know, it didn't start out here, it started inside. You know, I was the brother that was always in the yard, you know, trying to create something that was of good. You know, I was the person in the hallway trying to call someone to this dawah and say, listen, it's time for you to find your way to the masjid. I was in a block controlling myself without losing myself, you know, and finding a way to fight off the shaitan, because the devil is real, you know. And even when you're living in that society, it creates a negative, and it's so easy to be negative opposed to positive.
That's right. Go ahead, Moshe. You was asking the question before you froze up. You heard me, Moshe? I can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
You muted. Unmute yourself, Moshe.
Can you hear me now, my brother?
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
muted. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, probably. I'm on 2 different platforms. Whenever I freeze up on my laptop, I just go to my phone and I'm going back and forth. So please forgive me. No, I mean, I just was asking him how he was doing, man, and he just basically told us that. I know that Wayno and Mozzie, you know, their time is a little bit different, as well as Abdul Khabir. So I wanted to kind of go between y'all three before we actually got the Haji and Will. So Mozzie, you know, your situation is a little bit different than all of us. And the reason why is because although you spent an exorbitant amount of time, first of all, how much time did you spend in prison?
I spent 30 years, 10 months, and 24 days, bro.
Wow. And that's crazy. And I know Kabir is going to get to that at some point, inshallah, as well. But see, regarding us, I went to a time allowance committee. Everybody else went to their parole boards and things like that. But your situation was a lot different. You didn't have to go to a parole board, nor did you have to go to a time allowance committee. Your situation was a lot different. What led to you being released?
Right. Okay. I was serving a 50 years to life sentence, right? And you know, bro, I was given the good fortune from the Creator to get clemency, from Governor Cuomo, who commuted my time to that time I just mentioned, 30 years, 10 months, 24 days.
That's a blessing.
Which allowed me to walk straight out.
Well, alhamdulillah, man. Congratulations on that. And I know when you first got the news, I mean, how did you receive that news that you were actually, getting that blessing from the Most High?
Right. It's always usually around the so-called Christmas time, that December month or whatever. So I had been waiting, and just that day, the superintendent just called me out, and the deputies and all of that. The dep came and pulled me out of the law library and was escort me to depot security, right? And I thought, this is unusual right here, because the depot security don't escort nobody nowhere, right? So he took me to the children's center, and as some of you know, I used to volunteer work in the children's center on the weekend. So I'm thinking they found something in the children's center somebody left behind there, and they trying to stick me in there or something. So, the superintendent in there with another dep and all that, they told me to sit down. I'm like, what's this about? And she just began to, read me the email from the governor's office. And, my eyes just started watering, and just everything just started, just coming down on me. I couldn't believe it. And they just took me back to the law library, and I just sat in my seat, man. I was in shock the whole time. Couldn't wait to get back to the block. And I think, Wayno and I were in the same block. And sometime, later that, I think Wayno might have been like one of the first people I told, because I know he was able to relate, to, the organization that had helped me and whatnot. So I was like, yo, that was a blessing, man. It took a lot off me. So I went from, not knowing, when or if I ever be released, from prison, to eventually being released like 4 weeks later. On they gave me the news literally on New Year's Eve, December 31st, New Year's Eve, and I was released January 28th of 2019.
Mozzie,
yeah,
not to interrupt you, but just to ask you get some clarity points, right?
Right.
You said you did 30 years and 10 months, right? You said you did 30 years and 10 months, right?
All right. Yeah, I just disappeared.
Nah, you gotta stop touching that. Don't mess with that.
Hello?
Yeah, we here. I hear you. I see you.
We can hear you, Mom.
Hello.
I hear you, Mom. We see you. He touched something, man.
Everybody just disappeared from.
We hear you. We don't know what you did. You probably lost. It's probably still on there, but we hear you. We see you.
I see nobody else. But what was your question? You said a clarifying question, Mike?
Nah, the clarifying question is this: what did it take you to get the clemency? What did you put in that package? What did you say? How many tickets did you catch while you were incarcerated? How many programs did you do? What did you actually do to get clemency? Because everybody doesn't get clemency. I want to make sure that people understand.
Right.
Clemency is not an easy thing to get. I know a lot of brothers that are trying to get clemency, and it's not an easy thing to get. Us brothers that have been around you, we know why you got clemency. We know what kind of worker you was. We know what kind of person you was. But I want you to explain that to the people out here so they can understand what it takes to get clemency in the state of New York.
All right. One of the directives or the regulations say that you got to demonstrate extra, what they call quote unquote extraordinary circumstances that you've made substantial transformations in your life, during your incarceration and things like that, right? So one thing I've always believed, I came into prison. I went in there, and unfortunately I met a lot of elders who had a lot of influence that was going on. Like the old timers, Luke Mon and Eddie Ellis, and even going back with the brother Majid, we shouted out a little while ago, Ja, and all of ex Panthers and others. And brothers pretty much was like, yo, your preparation for release starts when you come into prison. Each day you should be preparing to try to be released. And one other thing, like Luke Mon used to always say, your whole idea is supposed to be able, prepare yourself to leave out better than you came in. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know going into prison with a sentence like 50 years or 70 years and all that, which I initially had, you may not want to do too much. You may feel it's over, so you just want to wild out or whatever. But once I, shook that off me, which was pretty early, everything else was, just maintaining myself, doing what I refer to as acts of faith, right? So what I mean by acts of faith, I was doing a life sentence, right? But still, I went to college. I worked in the law library. I volunteered to work in the children's center. I did tutoring with people with their GED. I worked with some organizations like ACAO. Yeah, I did a whole bunch PACE and all those particular organizations that a person who has a sentence like I had may not necessarily choose to do, because he might feel like there's no reason for him to do that because he's never getting out of prison. But I never resolved that particular. I never accepted that I was never going to get out of prison, although I believe that any relief that I got was going to come through the courts or whatever. But instead it came through a political route. But I did all of those particular things. I worked, like I said, I worked in the children's center on the weekends, where instead of going to the yard, I went down there, prepared that particular atmosphere. Families coming in, like the brother, Kabir and his, beautiful family coming in.
Oh, that's right.
So it's all about trying to provide a service, making yourself better, doing those particular things. Everything I did in college prepared me, to that particular point. I earned a bachelor's degree while I was in prison. So I was able to speak to all of those things in my my package that groups that helped me put together. So
and how
yeah,
and
I
how
mean that's it
how did that
in a nutshell, Mike. But I know we all got some idea what doing the right thing is in any particular space that we are in. So that's what I tried to do.
so Mazi, before I ask, I want to go to Haji, then Abdul Kabir. What before? So how did that preparation help you make the transition back out to society, and what are you doing now in terms of employment and stuff like that? How are you giving back now?
Well, that preparation was great, bro, because when from the moment I got the news about my being released, that I had assistants putting together a resume before I even left the prison, and people had helped me put it on a listserv with attorneys, saying what type of paralegal skills I had. So the day that I was released, I was like 20 minutes away from the prison, man, in the car. I hadn't even got home yet. And then my wife handed me the phone. I barely know how to use, the phone. I saw an email. An attorney was looking to hire me. That at that particular point, I hadn't even, got home that first day. So, that gave me, those preparations in the law library, the information and knowledge that I gained there, those skills allowed me to bring that to the outside and deal with attorneys in both civil and criminal matters. Because I worked freelance for the first few months that I was out. Right then, I got a pretty steady job, which is where I'm at now, and that's in the Legal Aid Society in the Wrongful Conviction Unit. I'm a paralegal case handler there.
Nice.
So,
Wow, man, that's beautiful, man. Listen,
Nice.
everyone out there, you guys are listening to We Locked In. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. I'm here with my co-hosts KK and Mikey B. We're here with this esteemed panel. I don't want to call us the Shawanga alum. I don't want to use those terms. You think I'm saying? But we all were Shawanga together. You guys just heard Mozzie speak about how he was granted clemency and the steps that he had to, prepare himself before he even came out. Because a lot of times individuals hear these stories about, prison being such a violent place. But the reality is that, while violence is taking place all around you, you do have individual pockets that insulate you where you're able to prepare yourself. And I bear witness. We all bear witness to Mozzie and the work that he was doing in the law library, because we all saw him in the law library and got his advice, right? You know what I mean? We know that
He helped us. He was my lawyer.
Yeah, you dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he was some of our attorneys, right? So, but I'm gonna shift gears on Mozzie. Mozzie looked like he just faded himself out. And I know Abdul Kabir and Wayno, they're kind of like in similar circumstances. But briefly, Abdul Kabir, so speak to us about, who you are, where you come from, and things like that. How much time you served in prison, and what you had to take to get you to the point of making your parole board, because I know that was your circumstances, but you went through a little rocky road. It was kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? But I know you're gonna get to that. But speak to the people about that, my brother.
Well, as all y'all know me, when I first came to prison, I was 18. I just turned 18, and I was sent to Trenton State Prison. I was serving 72 years in Jersey and 25 to life in New York. At the same time, I was awaiting sentencing because I was part of a big crew out of Jersey that was a high-profile crew, so to speak, in regards to drugs. So I had to take time out to learn how to put change in my life, because there was a time that I didn't want change. There was a time that I just wanted to deal with go, whatever it was. So once I got to Rikers Island at the time in 1988, 89 was different. And I stayed on Rikers Island from 89 to 91. So in seeing that, it made me register in my mind that there was something that I needed to do with me. And I caught many of the different slugs that most of the guys caught, the prison beefs and everything else. But like Mozzie said, I got with a lot of the elders, and I knew the Abdul Majids, I knew the Bashir Hamids. I sat in their classes, Jalil Mutakins, Herman Bell, and I learned from these men. And by the mercy of Allah, I had to change the cultivation of what I thought was right to what I knew what to be right. And at that time, I wound up getting a reversal in 1992. I was in Sullivan, and I got the 72 dropped to 16 with a 5, which was supposed to be ran concurrent, according to the judge. So they bring me back to New York from Trenton State Prison, which is like one of the worstest prisons in New Jersey, next to Rahway State Prison, where I was released from. And when I got there, I was in Southport at the time. So Southport at the time was crazy. And I'm just constantly begging Allah. Like, Allah, let me up out of the box, right? At this time, I'm serving a few years I had 3 years in Boxton. So Allah sent me to Sullivan. I get with these brothers. and these brothers showed me the law and everything else, and wound up going to JR school for college for as an A+ engineer. When I go to school for college for computers, I start to open my mind of education, like help me, because I had no GED. You know, I had no high school diploma, nothing. So in the process of that, I got under a brother, Ben Adam, who was one of the students of knowledge at the time, and he came to work inside of the prison where he was from Morocco. At this time, Dawood Adib was in Comstock. I had just left Comstock for a little short trip. That was my second trip there. So when I got there, and I got with this brother, by Allah's grace, the dean allowed me to see certain things that I couldn't see. I couldn't see in me, or that I didn't want to see. And I was walking with blinders on. And because I was walking with blinders on, you know, Allah says, whomsoever he chooses to guide, none can misguide. And whomsoever he chooses to leave it straight, none can guide. And he allowed me to be guided. So once I got with that, then I got with the brothers Rashid, who wife did the book Prisoner's Wife, and Saad and all these other brothers. And all of us became part of this brothers group, which was a group that was seeking to be students of knowledge, Abu Hudayfa and all these other brothers. And alhamdulillah, you know, I stayed there for about 9 years. Yeah, 8 years, 9 years. And I was with Mazi, co-defendant, and Jasi. And we formulated an African cultural group, which was called Kuwaiti Shuli, right? And we also put together this group, the AIDS Coalition, where as though we strive to educate people on AIDS and help the people out, because we said if we done took so much, we need to be able to give back. And a lot of times we ain't giving back. So then we put together a program that Lukman, who Mazi had mentioned, had put together initially in the early 70s. He did like 40 years. And it was called the Non-Traditional Approach to Social Justice. So when we started looking at this, we started realizing that a lot of us was more of the workers for the people that was opposed to doing right than workers of the people of good. So we realized more so that we were part of the problem instead of solution. And we had to realize, how can we be part of that solution? So being part of that solution now, we started funding different things, whether it was the YAP program, whether it was the visiting room to put things in there for the kids, the whole things for families when they come in, whatever holiday it may be or whatever. We started working on how to help transition other people into preparing themselves to go out, because we realized that we might have not got out, but we could at least live our dream through someone else. And that was a deep thing, because at the time I would go to the kids' room in Sullivan and help out and put the TVs on and everything else. And my mom, she would come, and she was sick. My mom had a long battle with cancer. She wound up dying in 2016 after I got hit at my second board. And you know, it was just a battle then. And I'm like, man, I got to be able to help these kids, because these kids are the kids that's going to be in these neighborhoods. These kids are going to be around my aunts, my uncle, other people, aunts and uncles. Either they're going to terrorize them, or they're going to try and assist them in doing something that is right. And our neighborhoods shouldn't feel like they need to be terrorized. So I started working with the kids and everything else, doing the instruction. Then I started holding an AA class. So when I started holding AA classes, they asked me to do the NA class, Miss Fernandez. And when I did the NA class, they didn't like the fact that we started organizing the different groups to stop a lot of the ignorance that was going on. So they sent me out to jail. They sent me to Wendy. I wound up going to Wendy. Me and Haji was together then in Wendy. When we wound up being up there in Wendy, it was a whole nother ball game, because now they wound up making me the imam in Wendy. So now another responsibility came on my plate that said I got to do the right thing. I got to bring the good to the people now, but I got to bring the good to the people through my actions, not just through my speech. And learning that, the more I learned in regards to the deen, I realized that knowledge precedes speech and action. So I had to get the knowledge in order to act on this here speech and action that I said I wanted to be. So now it became a motivation for me to get right, you know. So while I'm there, things happen. whereas though now the building was shook the way it supposed to be shook, and guys was being straightened out. But at the same time, we was trying to make sure that the Muslims was being cultivated, and brothers like Ron doing all these other brothers, we had various different programs to try to help the guys that was in the general population. And this work had to constantly be done in every place I was going after that. So in that regard, I wound up serving 32 years and 4 months.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that. I was just about to ask, but
Yeah,
how much time did you actually serve?
yeah, I served 32 years and 4 months. I
But there
came
came
home
there came a
August
time,
27th.
there came a time in your bid in which you were supposed to be released, but
Yeah,
something had happened in which you were then extradited to New Jersey. So speak to that
yeah.
instance so people can have a
Uh,
little backdrop regarding that.
you know, as guys know, my wife Saweeta, she's the most beautiful sister there is, man. May Allah reward her with good.
I
She
mean,
was advocating on my behalf very hard uh, to get me out, and this had been going on for years. She was on WKBR, Voice Beyond the Wall, and everything else. And the guys that I knew that at the time were Ernest and all these guys. So I wound up winning a parole board by Allah's grace and permission. Uh, and the day I was supposed to be going, June 19th, which was the day of the Eid, I had seen you. And I said, Musa, I'm leaving. But right before that, they came and got me like a week before that, like early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I said, Musa, I don't know what's going on. I said, this ain't looking right. So they telling me that I should be released from their county jail or whatever. I'm like, why that gotta happen? Like, what's going on? So I wound up getting there, and the day that I'm supposed to be released, New Jersey is sitting in the back in an armored truck. They cuffed me up and take me to New Jersey, telling me I still owe more time. I said, no, I got a reversal in 1992. I said, this is crazy. So long story short, I had to file the paperwork in regards to the time and everything. And then the judge called me to court like about 7 months later. And that was a hurting feeling because my wife had been in the parking lot, you know, and they made her leave. They had the balloons out there and everything. And, it was sad. I felt her pain and I felt my pain at the same time. So once I went through that, it made the fight more real. Because as soon as I got there, they made their obligation not to take me to court. They just sent me straight to Trenton. They said he goes back to Trenton. Trenton said, we don't want him. I said, what's wrong with this? Something is wrong with this paperwork. So they send me the raw way. So when I get the raw way, I get up in the law library. But all the cats I grew up with and I've known for years, they all up there. So they're like, man, we gotta help you out, man. This don't make sense. We gotta get you up out of here. So when COVID came, we up in there, they had their virtual court and I had got a hearing. And I had been making dua and everything. I almost died of COVID and everything. I'm making dua. I said, Allah, man, I need you to free me. I'm on my knees. I said, I have strove to be a servant. Whatever you choose to do, I'm going to accept that decree. But I beg you. And I said, if you give me a chance, I promise you that if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, touching them bricks, I said, you can kill me in the street. Send the angel of death to my doorstep. I said, because I don't need to be up in here. I said, free me. And I went to court, and Sheikh Ibrahim that worked in Shimon had taught me this dua. So I said the dua. I said, this is the time this dua gonna be said. I said the dua, and next thing I know, the people started talking to me nice. Judge ain't never talked to me nice. Just said, we made a mistake. I said, what? A mistake? DA said, I'm willing to give you 3 years credit right now. I almost fainted. I said, this is serious. So then they said, we're gonna let you go. I said, oh man. I said, Allah is Akbar, right? So now I get back to the holding area. They still talking about, oh no, but he still had to go to a parole board. So they take me to a parole board immediately. Pro boy said, "We don't know why they brought you here. You ain't got to see us. We're letting you go immediately." Said, "We got a late birthday present. You're being released 2 days after your birthday." And I got released August 27th of last year.
Allahu Akbar. And up to that point, you had brought them how much time? 32 years and what?
4 months and 7 days. I got released
So,
on that Friday.
So we're hearing this story and we locked in. Our brother Abdul Kabir has saying that he spent a total of how many years in New York prison systems?
Over 30 years.
Oh, 30 years in New York?
Yeah.
All right. And then he was extradited to New Jersey, but he was supposed to be released in New York because he made his parole board in New York.
Yeah.
So under the premise that he made his parole board, his family is outside the jail waiting for him. They got the balloons, his wife, his daughters, everybody's out there waiting for his arrival so he can come pick his family up, hug them, and do all that stuff we do when we walk out the jail. And then after that, he then now is met by authorities from New Jersey saying that you're going to be extradited back to New Jersey for a case that he thought he already had a reversal on. And then he spent time out there. And then from there, this leads to him having to do time out there, which ultimately led to him going to court and I'm granting him time, and then ultimately led to his release. But you're not the only one in this panel who faced some similar type of injustice, because Haji, in this case,
well,
first of all,
even with that situation,
hold on, Bill. Let me, because I know I'm gonna get back to you. Hold on, but
Yeah,
Haji, in your case, Haji,
gotta go. Wayno gotta go, right?
Oh, Wayno, you gotta go.
Hold on, I want to shout Wayno out. Peace and
Yo,
blessings,
Wayno, I know you leaving. You said you had to go.
Good to see
But
you,
before he go, let's ask him a few questions. Let's get him in there. Because Haji and Willem, they're gonna be here.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be here.
Wayno.
Can you hear us, Wayno?
Yeah.
All right, unmute yourself. Wayno, what I want to ask you is this. I know you was, one of the first bloods. You know what I'm saying? You was a big homie non-Trey. Making the trans, let me get this right. Hold up. The right questions get the right answers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, all right, making the transition from being a big homie and a gangbanger to when I met you were in the NOI, you was running a lot of different programs, and you was a good guy for the community. Making that transition out of the gangs and back to helping the community, being a Muslim brother in the Nation of Islam. How did that help you in making your reentry into the community easier and getting you home easier? Let me get the dynamics of that. Because these young kids really need information.
Yeah, it was very influential in my transition back to the community. One, because not only did I run the program, I was a participant in the program. And once I was a participant in the program, I started utilizing all those techniques and strategies for my unresolved anger that I had that led me to prison. And once I started implementing that in my life, then my transition became easier. And that mostly everybody on this panel came through the program when I was facilitating it. And not only did I help y'all helped me, because every participant that came through, their story was similar to mine, and it helped me like a reinforcement of what I was doing and continue to do. And I'm still doing that in society today. Them same skills is being implemented. I know everybody on this panel can relate that we go through shit every day in society that tempts us or triggers them emotions inside of us. But then we reflect back where we came from, what we went through, and what got us to where we at now. And by Allah's mercy, we still here, and we gonna continue to be here.
Amen.
So you was down for 25 years. You was going for a while. I mean, the youth that you were when you came in are obviously different than the youth of today, but nonetheless, they're all youth. So what type of advice would you give? How would you talk to the youth of today versus talking to the Wayno of yesterday?
Because you was talking to the kids in the prison system in the Scared Straight program too. You was doing that too.
Absolutely. I was facilitating the yacht program as well. And the first thing you got to do is you got to be able to relate to them. You just can't come from a I'm better than you standpoint. You got to be able to relate to them, whether it's through music, culture, dress, everything. Because I know the information that I give them is the same information that wasn't present for me. And I know that led to me being incarcerated, and it led to my anger issues. As long as you can relate to a youth, you can get through to them. That's the biggest issue that we have, that we can't bridge the gap because we don't have no communication with them. Either they look at us as we old and washed up, or we looking at them as, nah, I don't want to mess with them young dudes. The gap got to be bridged in order for communication to be established. That's the main point.
Facts.
Yeah. Well, Wayne. I mean, you told us earlier, man. You had to leave, so you had somewhere to go in terms of picking up your family and stuff like that. We appreciate you coming here, big bro, man. We love your presence, man. Your presence is definitely healthy. It's always been healthy, man. So we wish you nothing but success. We truly appreciate
Absolutely,
you, man.
bro.
Take care of yourself,
Appreciate
man.
y'all as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming here, man. Thank you, big bro. We
You
love
already
you,
know,
man.
bro.
Right,
Anytime.
bro.
Love y'all too.
Salam alaikum,
Right.
Salam
brother.
alaikum. Walaikum salam.
It's good
Now,
seeing you, man.
now, y'all hearing these stories, man, from brothers who literally, man, has spent over. This panel here has over 200 years in prison, man. And this is not. I want the young brothers out there, the young brothers and sisters, to understand something, man. Like, this is serious, man. All of us, with the exception of one. I mean, I'm just talking about in general. All of us were incarcerated for over 20 years, for over 22, 25 years of our lives in prison, with the exception of one. But together, it totals over 200 years spent in these white people's jails. So if you think that you're going to go out there and try to do something more different than we did it, we're here to tell you that you got a whole other plan you need to think about. But with that, I want to make that into a segue into Haji, because Haji, in spite of all of us, I mean, may Allah forgive me, I was guilty. Mikey B has already admitted to some of the things that he's done, as well as KK, right? Abdul Kabir, Will, right? I mean, we're gonna get the Will, but my brother, you're the only one on this panel, with respect, that has been wrongfully convicted for a crime that you have no knowledge of, correct?
Correct.
And you went to a board after spending 25 years, and you went to a board and you basically told them that you were not going to admit to a crime you didn't do, correct?
Absolutely.
So let us know about you, man. Where you from? A little bit about the time you spent in prison, and lead us up to this point, my brother.
All right. Those who know me well. My name is Haji, last name Jones. I was wrongfully convicted of a crime in 1994, and I served 25 years straight in prison for a crime that I didn't do. I like to say a lot of times that I'm an exception to the rule, because there's an ongoing joke that goes, everybody in prison is guilty, which is not in our case. You understand? In our case, there are exceptions to the rule. And during the 90s, when things was hectic, many men were being wrongfully convicted for crimes that they didn't do. And, fortunate for us, we didn't accept it. There's a lot of cases that hold precedent on actual innocence, and we made that a rule. We brought that into the court system. And right now it's something that's looked at and that's taken serious, because there are people, or men and women, who are wrongfully convicted for crimes that they didn't do. And just the transition, going into the prison system, I was angry. There's no getting around it. You get ready to put me in cages, man, it ain't going down like that. So for many years I rebelled and, did a lot of, keep lock box time and things of that nature, disobeying the rules, and, until I met the elders, the brothers who came and grabbed me, man, and told me, yo, listen, man, it's time for you to buckle down and figure this thing out, man, because life is not fair, but we also have to get through it. And me and Will used to say that all the time. We got to go through it to get through it. And it was a transition, man. It wasn't easy. A lot of years spent with blood, sweat, and tears, and trying to figure it out. And then, meeting brothers that was involved in different organizations, such as Powerful, Shuaib, them brothers, got hold of us and had us doing programs, inside of the prison because it wasn't about wasting time anymore. Yeah, this happened to you, but you also have to be able to move forward and get it together, and we were proactive in a lot of the programs. I wanted to say something to Wayno because he and I was in a lot of those classes together. Self-empowerment entrepreneur development program. Will was there, Kabir, all y'all brothers in that program. The seed program. And I'm proud to have been a part of that. And because I didn't waste time. I didn't become a victim. I understood that, sometimes bad things happen to good people and we have to move on and we have to be able to deal with it. And unlike, New York prison system, when you go to parole boards, they want you to admit to guilt, in order to get out. So, given my circumstances, fighting all of those years, I couldn't give into that. And I stood up the same way that I stood up to go to trial. Because back then in the 90s, men wasn't going to trial. It was all about the cop out. Take the 5 to 15, take the 7.5 to 25, don't worry about it. You be out for a little while. But for men who, were stand up men, couldn't deal with that. We couldn't accept that. And I did. So, I'm grateful for all of the lessons and the things that I've learned in my contrast of, making it out. Making it out of prison because it wasn't easy. And while I was there, I definitely prepared myself. I guess I was talking about the programs. I prepared myself and I was involved in a lot of different programs and helped me be the man I am today.
How has those I mean, just in general, like how has your transition been? I mean, re-entry, like what, let's talk that for a minute. Like this, we always talk about the time we spent. I'll get to that, inshallah. But how has your transition been?
Well, my transition was positive, man. Like I said, I didn't waste any time while I was incarcerated. And I appreciate all the brothers, man, that didn't give up on me, had me attending those classes. Because when I came out, I was able to utilize the information that I've learned. We had this thing in PACE and in a lot of the programs. If you empower a man, he empowers his family, and then they empower the community. And that was the gist of what we needed to do. So in getting all this information and preparing for myself, because I knew they wasn't going to be able to hold a good man, I was getting out. You understand? But it was a matter of time, and if I was going to be ready, because that was the conversation. Are you ready? Shay, you know that. You and I have spent many days in offices, typing up term papers and trying to get it together for college. Brother, you gonna leave that like that? Because I think you can, add a little more and tighten that up. And I'll go back and I'll rewrite that whole paper, and come back to you, and that was part of the transition. So since then, in leaving, I was in a toxic environment at first, and I had to make some decisions, and the decisions that I made, I wound up, going on my own. I started my own business, and right now my business is doing what a business does, but all of the things that I've learned, I learned to put it together. I have an LLC and an S Corp, I'm paying taxes. My credit is good. It's really good. Brother got good credit.
And for the record, you are currently like literally like in your truck. You drive 18-wheel trucks, correct?
Absolutely. Right now, I'm in
So
the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I
So
can
so
show
you
y'all the outside. I'm in the desert, man. Not
yeah, well
I'm about maybe 150 miles from Arizona, Flagstaff,
so
Arizona on I-40.
and look,
150
so
miles, and then I
and
get
this and
to
this
Phoenix and the other cities.
and
I got a little
where you yeah, you got a little poppy with you.
Yeah,
Where you headed
yeah,
at
you
now?
gotta tell me, Bobby. Bobby. Niggas up, Bobby.
Are you
Little
kidding me?
Poppy, but
Like, yo, where you headed at though?
I'm going into California. I gotta go to San Bernardino, California. I gotta be there tomorrow. I got a load to drop off, and right now it's a 2-hour difference from you guys. Right now it's only 6 o'clock over here, so it's just starting to get dark. And yeah, tomorrow I'll be going into San Bernardino, California. I stay there for about maybe a couple days, and then head back into either Texas or Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just in Dallas, Texas, man. I got a chance to meet some brothers out there, and they took me around, and yeah, America is beautiful, you know, and that's one of the things that I wanted to, you know, talk about as well. Having been home and having that opportunity to transition, you know, I got a chance to see the world, you know, from a different set of eyes, and it's beautiful out here. Come here, Bob. What you doing?
Yo, y'all tuned in to We Locked In, man. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. I'm here with my co-host Mikey B and KK. We're talking to our brothers who we spent some time with while we all were incarcerated at Shawanga Correctional Facility. Some of us have been in other prisons throughout the state. Again, we don't to the youth, and I have to keep stressing this point that, you know, for those of us who's been incarcerated, we're not here to highlight the fact that we were locked up. That's not what these conversations are about. The conversations are about the fact that we were young. Many of us made poor decisions and ultimately led to us being incarcerated. And today, you know, it's about redemption. You know, we had to get to a place in our lives where we realized that the way we were living was not right and exact. Unfortunately for us, it happened while we were in prison cells. We don't want the youth of today to feel like in order for them to change their lives, they have to be, you know, have a 50 to life sentence or a 35 to life sentence because of some sentences that they done committed in the community. What we hope to do is inspire them to learn from our mistakes, our poor decisions, our poor choices, so that they don't have to basically emulate our senselessness. All right. And last but not least, right, we have our brother Will, the youngest amongst us. Right, he was always the one soaking it
Big
all
Will.
up. Right, this is our younger brother. So you not only are you the youngest amongst us, but you're also the one who was most recently released, right, my brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when were first of all, how much time did you serve? When were you released?
I did
And when were you released?
I did exactly 14 years and 7 months, and I was just released December 2nd.
December 2nd. So you haven't even really been home yet. 2 months.
Yeah, it's all new to me, brother, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm enjoying every second of it. The transition has been very smooth by the grace of Allah, and you know all my friends, and I'm soaking it all in, brother. I'm just, you know, I'm honored to be here and share my story, and I love that you keep stressing the point that we don't want to make it seem like it's a great thing that we went to prison. We want to prevent our young guys from even going through that. That's why we tell our story. That's the whole point of this, right?
Correct.
Absolutely.
So I love that you keep stressing that. It's very important that you nail that home.
Well, I mean, we have to, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because people get the wrong impression somehow, thinking we come up here to tell our stories. But when I went to prison, I ain't have no grades in my bed. I ain't even have a bed. I had a smooth face, and now I'm sitting here with a full bed, right? So in terms of your background, I mean, where you come from, where you from? I mean, where you from, and how did that, you know, translate or transfer over into your mentality in the prison setting, and what led to you thinking somehow, you know, you got to get yourself right before you made that transition, and how did that ultimately, how did it get to that point for you?
Thank you for asking that question. First and foremost, I'm from the Bronx. I grew up in the projects just like most of you brothers, just like most of our young brothers that's in the struggle right now, you know, in the street doing the things that they do. it's a sad reality for me, right? Because growing up in the projects, I was literally surrounded by gang members. So I remember as early as 8 years old, they was calling me a baby blood. So I was literally groomed to being a gang member. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I remember taking my oath at the age of 13. Shortly after taking my oath, I was arrested. So I've been in and out of these institutions since I was 13 years old. So from 13 to 34, that's a total of 21 years I've been in and out of these institutions. And that's terrible. I'm 34 years old and I spent nearly 21 years in and out of prison.
Yeah.
All because I wanted to be revered by people that did not matter.
Excuse me, beloved. Before y'all go on, I gotta get ready to go. As y'all know, I'm in work, so I asked for permission to get this chance to spend with y'all. So I gotta get ready to go.
Yeah. I
I
know.
wanted to
I
say
know.
thank you. I wanted to say thank you, Kabir, and just I appreciate you, brother. You mean a lot. You just mean a lot to me, man. And a lot of things that
You should have been on our show yesterday too, Kabir.
and you continue to do. Blessings, bro.
You an author, man. You should have been on our show yesterday too, Kabir.
That's a
Word
fact.
up.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah, because you've always done so much stuff, man. And your humbleness from the time that you've done in your struggle, and that should really, really represent. And I'm glad you had mentioned about the time, Moshe, and actually stressed that point, because that's one of the key things. I know people are here like, what? How much time? And to see how you are now, I mean, it'd be a shock to people. It may be a shock to people that a person can actually go through what you've been through and still have integrity, honor, respect, and be. You know what I'm saying? There's some humility about it, man. And I just want to thank you, though, and commend you, though, bro.
Inshallah. You know, I think y'all, because every one of y'all played a role in my life, from Will to you to Haji. You know, I remember Haji being in the community with me. I was his imam. Mikey B. You know,
editing your books, helping you write your books.
Most
right.
I remember you stressing me out about writing books.
Yo, hold on. He was up here. Yo, Kabir. He was up here with Everlast. Yo, he was up here.
Real quick.
He was up here. He helped everybody write their books. Everybody.
I helped Kabir.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something that this is no joke, and I told you this when you did it, right?
Facts.
The day I got out of prison, Friday, I went to Juma. The next day, Saturday, Musa came to pick me up. Moshe, there was a person that was waiting for me, one of my partners. He came and brought me a stack of money, and Moshe said, "I'm on my way to get you." Me and my wife was at the B&B, and him and his wife, he said, "I'm coming to take you home, man." You know, and he brought me home. We made prayer together, me, him, my wife. We sat down, and I had an interview on the radio station that day. You know, and all I can say, man, is that Allah is merciful, bro. I came home, I'm working. I was working 3 jobs, running a restaurant, managing a barbershop, and right here I'm at Frito-Lay right now. That's where I'm at now. I run all the chemicals for the plant and everything. And you know, I can't tell you that this is anything less than good. You know, I came from my earlier teaching the class at the masjid. You know, and a lot of guys say, "Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it." No, I'm doing it, and I ain't even tired. I got me a cup of Bustelo with me, and I'm happy. You know what I mean?
No, that's right.
Yeah, I got me a cup of Bustelo, and you know, just to see y'all, to see Will, and you know, I remember being outside in the yard with Will on the phone, and he got his little polo hat on and running around.
Remember the book, bro. Hold on, you're forgetting the topic. Remember the book, bro. The book.
Listen,
what happened with the book?
The book is in motion. I ain't forgot the book. I'm trying to get a binder on the book now. Your
what
wife, tell her I said thank you so much, because she sent the copy of the
story,
book
right?
last year.
Mikey sent you a copy of the book. We don't steal at Hood Love. You see that, right? We had his book for years. We could have stolen it. Could I have stole that book a bit? Right or wrong?
Absolutely. But I wouldn't expect you to do that,
come back edited,
because
come back in
I want to tell you
format.
something.
These are true stories.
one
I'm
thing
just
that
what
is
he
a
got.
fact.
So it
Me
comes
and Mikey B go back a long way. When he first got with Shayna,
Attica.
you understand? And we sitting in Attica yard somewhere, and Mikey B walking around selling poems in the yard.
Getting it. That's
You
right.
understand?
Getting it, you heard?
That's right. That's
and
that print shop right there. Touch
yeah,
type it.
yeah,
It's before the print shop.
See,
Touch
cats
type this,
don't
man.
realize how deep relationships is, until you actually know that person.
It's about
And
15 years before the print shop.
That's a fact. And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu said, the way you know a person, you live with them, you do business with them, or you travel with them. And I've done that with all of y'all. So y'all know my mindset. Y'all know how I'm living. And it's just real. It's real. Before I go right now to go do these chemicals, I'm gonna go and get on that rug.
Yo, we appreciate you, big bro, man. Thanks for stopping through, man.
Yo,
Absolutely.
salam alaikum, my brother. I love you for sending me that. Tell my sisters,
we appreciate you, big bro.
tell my sisters, man.
You already
Me and my
know
wife,
that.
we send our salams to you, my brother.
Yeah, inshallah. She probably looking at y'all right now because I told her to link in. I said y'all should be on there right now. I said
Yes,
link in
please.
to them.
Please tell her sister sends her salam too.
Inshallah.
Yo, wifey, we send hours. Tell her my wife and everybody send hours. You heard, Kabir? You know that.
Yeah, she probably like, yeah, there go Mikey B right there. look at Musa.
Tell her sis I said what's up, man.
Man. Tell her we send our
We came
love,
a long way, bro. We came a long way, you heard?
Word.
Yeah,
word.
She was teaching a class with me today at the masjid. We went and opened it up, and she was tired because she had just got over some sickness, and we just came back from a death because her sister's husband died. And I was down there in the Bronx. I drove down there. I came home. Allah's been merciful. Right? I got my own car, house. Most they tell you got my own office. Allah's merciful, man. For real.
Hey, yo, Dad's Hunter said, yo, what's good, Mo? Is that the brother you introduced me to when you was in Shawang? Yeah, that's him, Dad's Hunter. that's my boy Darius right there, baby. Remember Darius?
Yeah.
That's him, Daz.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right, bro. But
and Ramal Abdullah said, hold on, that's Kabir? Salam alaikum.
Yeah,
that's him.
I'm out here, bro, working, man.
Yeah, that's Kabir. You can't tell who he is. He got that thing on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, they super on the chemical thing.
Funny, bro. You gotta get that money, heard?
Listen, man, we understand, man. We get it, man. We love you, man.
Yeah,
we know how it is, man.
These kids to come talk to the peoples, bro. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. We love you, man. Salam alaikum, my brother.
And most of these people, they don't even know my story. They be like, "Oh, he's just a nice Muslim brother."
We gonna get it out, bro. When we get that book out, we're gonna bring you back up here. We get that book out to promote your book, bro.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yo, salam alaikum, my brother.
What they saying, salam? All y'all just gotta call me. I'm there.
All right, my brother.
Salam alaikum.
Yo, so Will, we apologize, Will.
Fine, don't worry about it. I'm here, man.
No, you were speaking about being influenced by the homies in your hood, and that from 13 to 34, you spent those years in and out of these institutions. That's where you had left off at.
Yeah, man. I did juvenile bids. At 16, I got arrested for a murder charge, and I want to shout out, Sam Braverman. Mikey B, I know you know him too. That's
I had Sam Braverman for the Bronx in Jersey.
Exactly. You already know how he give it up. He beat your case, right?
Jail cases. He helped me with a couple jail cases.
Yeah, we spoke about this before, but anyway, I got locked up for a murder case. By the grace of Allah, I got acquitted. And shortly after that, I got wrapped up for attempt murder charge. And I was 19 years old. I got sentenced to 17 years. And 14 years, 15 years later, here I am.
So I mean, it's obvious, man. First of all, let's go back to, because you mentioned a key point here, that's something that has to be emphasized. So these individuals that you were trying to seek reverence from in your community, these individuals who initially introduced you to this gang subculture, was any of these individuals, like, in all honesty, were they trying to encourage you to do the right thing, like, go to school, stay away from us? Like, let's just be real, man. Like, were these individuals in your best interest? What was these individuals like?
Not at all, brother. Not even a little bit. I never heard something like that. Go to school or any words of encouragement. That wasn't common at all. That was unheard of.
So
They was
listen,
getting
listen.
money.
This is something that we
What's the
need to
purpose?
emphasize, man, because if the gang subculture, if y'all young out there and the gang subculture is encouraging you not to do the right thing, then something's wrong with that picture. If you could end up like this young man, or just because you are a young man still, if you could end up like our young brother Will, where you're being encouraged to do the wrong thing, join our gang so that you could do the wrong thing and ultimately go to a bunch of juvenile institutions, and these juvenile institutions ultimately leaving you, transitioning into an adult prisons.
Facts,
Then
Cuba.
let's just keep it 100, man. That's not the type of life you want to be living. But I'm listening. We're listening, my brother. I apologize, man.
Nah, you don't owe me an apology, brother. You absolutely right. We got to emphasize that point. You got to drop that point home. Like I was saying, from I was literally groomed to be a gang member, and they got me nothing. It got me nothing but time. I was estranged from my family for many years. I'm now, I'm in the process to, getting to know my family all over again, all because of the decisions that I made. And I paid that price, brother. But I'm here today. I'm happy. While I was in there, I was involved with all the positive programs that was afforded to me. Me, Mikey B, KK, even yourself. We put these organizations together and we worked our ass off.
Facts.
I remember something that you taught me, Mikey. You said, you know, whatever you want to do, work at it 8 hours a day, just like a job. You clock in, you clock out. 8 hours a day. If you wanna be a rapper, work on your craft 8 hours a day. And that always stuck to me.
That should work for us though, right, Will?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. To this
8 hours
day,
a day we should be at in Chicago. 8 hours a day, like a job.
listen. When I left you, brother, I started studying real estate. And that's what I did. I read my book 8 hours a day. I studied 8 hours a day. And now I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to real estate. And that's my goal to become an investor in real estate.
Well,
But
we
you
have
gotta
we have
put the
somebody that we can link you to, but that's another story named Mark Gaston. But we'll get to. I apologize.
Okay.
Go ahead, my brother.
Okay. Well,
No.
like I was saying, brother, unfortunately from the age of 13 to now, I think my total time as a free man is 10 months consecutively. That means every single year from 13 to now, I got arrested. So the longest I've been a free man is 10 months, brother. So I'm just super motivated to. I just gave these people 21 years of my life. I'm taking that back. So
That's right.
I'm just super motivated to.
You got to turn that off. You got two things
I just
on.
gave this.
Somebody has another
Haji.
Oh, that was all right. That was okay. No, and that's significant right there. And I'm glad that you spoke about that. That's a great point that Mikey B told you that. And we were talking about this the other day. I don't know if you saw the episode on Joseph Williams, the brother, when he was talking about trauma, the trauma that we have before prison, during prison, and what we ultimately go back home to. And he mentioned that when he went home after doing 14 years in prison, he did 5 first or 3 first, and then he did 3 first, then 11. He mentioned that all of these stipulations that he had on his parole were curfew, not staying around other felons, getting a job, not using drugs and alcohol, no police contact, and among these other things, right? But he said none of these stipulations had anything regarding trying to help him address the trauma, right? The trauma that he endured, the mental trauma, the emotional trauma that he endured based on his being confined to these penal institutions. So I would like to say to both you and Haji, to you first, Will. One, did you see anything on your parole stipulations about you addressing this trauma? Absolutely not.
There's nothing in my paperwork that said that encouraged me to go get counseling or anything like that.
Nothing of the sort.
No, sir.
So and I brought this matter up. And Haji, what about you, my brother? Was there anything in your parole stipulations about you addressing any emotional or psychological trauma that you may have experienced based on your 25 years incarcerated? Haji, did you hear my question? Haji.
Well, did you hear my question? Yeah. Well, with my situation, I was Haji. Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta turn something on, Haji.
we can hear you, Haji.
My situation, I was
You got too many things on, Haji. You gotta turn one
Yeah,
off.
you can hear me.
You gotta turn something off. Will.
What's up, brother?
While Haji's getting his stuff together, I want to ask you a quick question that's very important. That
Okay.
more than half of this panel were members of Blood, right? All of us have moved up, move on. You know, we retired with respect in our communities, right?
Yes, sir.
What I need you to tell these people is, I mean, in as much words you can, I mean, how did you make the transition out of the gangs? Because this is very important to still be respected in prison where guys, you know, still mess with you. A lot of guys still dealt with you, and you were cool with the guys that was in the gangs. How did you make that transition out of there, bro? Because if you said a lot of your life at 13, you went into the gang and you was groomed at 8. So all you really knew was the gang. How did you get out of the gang? And what made you get out of the gang? That's very important, bro.
Great question.
Yeah,
Very important
bro.
part of your story too, bro. Don't forget about that.
That's a great question. Thank you for that. All right. First, the reason I wanted to get out of the gang, I started noticing. I was 26 when I chose to leave. So from 13 to 26, that's 13. That's a 13-year period. So that was actually like half my life at that time, right? If I'm you know, I'm 26 when I left. So the first 13 years of my life, you know, I was a gang member. So I started to realize that I was changing in the sense of I no longer agree with the things that was going on around me.
Why not? What were you doing? What were you doing that gave you a counter look on being in the gang? What were you doing at that time?
I mean, you know, I was actually in Clinton, and I was just around a bunch of chaos, and it just wasn't making any sense to me. And that's when I knew that I was changing. So while I was changing, I noticed that the gang and the mindset of the gang was not changing. So that's when I knew that there was a separation between me and the gang. You understand what I'm saying?
And what were you seeing? Were you seeing things that were like contrary to where your beliefs were at the time? Like you were evolving as a person, and you started seeing things that were going contrary to that. And if that is the answer, then what are some of those? What are some of those things that you were seeing?
So you want me to be specific? All right.
Please.
You ain't got to use names, but you know how
you don't have to use names, but you could definitely.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I started noticing brothers was just using a lot of drugs around me, and I was never really a drug user. So I noticed that everything, like all the bullshit that people was getting into, it has something to do with, you know, they wanting to get high, so we're about to act stupid. And that just didn't make sense to me. And here it is. I you know, in my head, I was a gangster, and these dudes is not moving like gangsters according to me, and you know, my beliefs and my perception on what a gangster is. So if I'm a gangster and he's a gangster and he get high all day, one of us is not gangster. So maybe it's me. Maybe I'm growing and I'm becoming an adult, and you know, this shit just don't make sense to me anymore. And I started to, you know, change my mind. I started to, well, being Damu, you naturally you're introduced to the Nation of Islam. That's where we go to congregate, and you know, we meet up there. So while we're sitting in the Nation of Islam doing what we're doing, I started to actually listen to, you know, what the brothers were saying. And there's something in Islam called the self-accusing spirit, where you condemn yourself.
Yeah.
You start seeing all the things that you did wrong, and you feel like, damn, you know, he's talking to me. And you know, he's not saying, yo, Will, you know, you was doing this, you was doing that. I was, you know, convicting myself like, damn, this is shit that I was doing. I need to do better. And I started to take that, you know, these studies serious, and I just started to part ways with brothers. It's because I had, you know, over the years I've gained a lot of people's respect. So being that I've gained that respect, I was able to make a positive transition out of the gangs where no one wanted to get at me, or, you know, nobody wanted to do anything. You know, brothers was happy for me because I've built positive relationships with a lot of people. A lot of people respect me. I respect a lot of people. So the transition out of the gangs was pretty easy for me, and I'm grateful for
Yo, you know, yo, man, wow, man. Yo, man, I love my brother, man. Yo, man, this is serious, man. Y'all tuned in to We Locked In. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. I'm here with Mikey B, my co-host, my other co-host, KK, aka Kevin Ford, aka Queen's Finest. No, I'm just messing around. I'm just messing around, right? You know, we're dropping. Well, this is some serious stuff, man. Because you know, a lot of times, man, it's this.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
Please, man, hit that like button, man. Share with your families, man. Particularly share with if you got a son in the house with you, if you have a daughter, niece, or nephew, please share with them right now because we're getting some serious knowledge regarding the youth and their introduction into gangs. You know, we talking about it's so much going on in here. We talking about peer pressure. We can see the correlation between peer pressure. Now we talking about being introduced into the prison system and just it's all coming out right now with this discussion that we're having with our brother Will, man, who just was released December 2nd of 2021. So I mean, what's freedom like for you, bro? What that feel like? What's that like?
when I was inside, I always said to myself, yo, listen, when I make it home, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to enjoy myself. And no, that's what I've been doing. I'm married. I've been married for 5 years.
Congrats.
Shout sis out for us.
I got you. You already. But you know, I've been spending time with the family. Getting to know the family and spending time with my beautiful wife, trying to extend our family. You know, we're trying to get pregnant. You know, fingers crossed. And I've been having fun, brother. You know, I'm working. I got my learner's permit. I never drove a day in my life, brother. I'm learning how to drive now. I got my OSHA certification. I'm trying to get into construction. You know, construction is a major part of real estate. Rehabbing properties. You know, demolition. Electrical work, plumbing, this and that. So I'm just trying to learn everything that I can learn, get the hands-on experience. You know, when I begin to invest, I know what I'm doing. I know who I'm hiring. I know that they can't jerk me because I actually know the work. So, you know, that's what I've been doing, brother.
I mean, and has that been, has that transition been difficult for you? I mean, because you prepared yourself, obviously. Let's keep it 100, man. Mikey B gave you the green light, man. You was running a family class. I pulled up to your class in ACAO, right? I mean, we were actually in Shawanga together.
Yes,
you were running your own curriculum, and it was centered on family.
Yes,
and so I saw you during your development. So how has your transition been in terms of that from that perspective?
Yeah, brother, I'm gonna be honest, man. It's been very smooth. It's been extremely smooth for me, and it's because I've been preparing myself. Now, if you the brothers that are inside, you have to prepare yourself if you want to have a smooth transition. Now, if you in there and you getting high, you doing, you into all the foolery, and then you think you're gonna come home and things are gonna be smooth for you. You know, there's gonna be a rude awakening for you, brother.
How did you prepare yourself?
Like I said, man, for one, man, I surrounded myself with people of like minds. You know, the people, nothing but positive energy around me, brother. I repel all negativity. If you're on some negative shit and that's all you're talking about, stay away from me. I surrounded myself around people that just wanted to build and do better things for themselves and their family. That was a major part of, my preparation for the outside world. And now that I'm out here, I use those same exact skills that I learned inside there how we network, how we get to know each other, and that's what I've been doing out here, brother. And it's been very smooth. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I didn't do 14 years in prison. I feel like
it's crazy.
Nobody
you said
feels
that.
like that.
Yeah, no, I don't feel that way neither until you start actually going to those memories and you like, damn. Boom. And sometimes people remind me like, yo, bro, you only been home 4 months. How much? Like, like what are you talking about? and it really don't register, man. But you absolutely correct, bro.
Okay, we've been talking about this, prior to our release. Yo, listen, brother, when we go out there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And look at us now, brother. We actually doing these things, B. Like I'm super proud of you. I love you. You my brother. And you too, Moshe.
Oh, listen, tell mommy I'm coming to get me some more chicken. You ain't even got to mention that. Listen,
You gotta come to the crib. I make chicken too, bro. I get busy.
Yeah, but I don't know about all that. You don't cook no better chicken than your mom's. I don't want to hear all that, man. Hey, yo, the crazy thing where I'm listening to you talk, right? And I remember when, being Don Moore at the time, right? And Mark Gasson keeps putting this inside the chat, man. And bro, you raising some valid points, man, because I remember getting to the point where, it's something, man, where your name gets to the point where you're trying to run away from the name.
Oh, absolutely.
Some people want to run to the smoke and the action. I was running to the smoke so much, I wanted to run away from it.
Absolutely.
050, the movement in the building. Yo, what's up, man? Shout it out to 050, man.
050 in the building.
You already know, man. Can't wait, man. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, man. Inshallah. So it's just like to me, it was just like I felt like my name was getting so big, right?
The link is in the chat, trying to hit it.
And I was like, I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I was just like, I felt like you, Will. It was just like I started feeling like I was growing, but at the same time, I wasn't seeing individuals themselves who were growing. And I was like, is this what I want to keep doing? So I remember being in Upstate Box, and hearing that my grandmother passed away, my maternal grandmother in this case. This was in March of 2014. So it was within that time when I announced my Shahada. So, but I was still straddling the fence. All right, yeah, I can still be blood and still be, Muslim at the same time. You know how this go, KK. You know what I'm saying, right? Still straddling the fence. So I said to myself, I can't straddle the fence, but I'm gonna keep it real. I thought I could, but one incident told me that I couldn't. It was when the chaplain came to my cell and they told me that the chaplain wanted to see me. Nobody wants to see the chaplain. We all dread this chaplain dude coming to our cell. When they say
the chaplain is in the building to see somebody,
we know that when chaplain wants to see you unexpectedly, it's not a good look.
It's a problem.
So I wasn't even expecting to hear like what I was about to hear. So I gets down there. I'm thinking, it's crazy because how your mind thinks in that moment. I'm thinking, all right, what happened to my father? I'm thinking about the men, maybe one of my brothers, maybe, something, an aunt, something. But the last person I expected him to tell me was that your mother's gone. Yo, Will, let me tell you something. Yo, Mikey B, KK, this is a true story. If I could really, really tell you about like how that felt, I can't. All I know is that when I got back to the cell, I did just like this. There's no lie. I was on my knees and I said, I need help. Like, I really need help. Like, if I've been abandoning you all these years, this is at this moment, I don't have nobody. If you taking my mother from me, I don't have anybody. I need help. You're the only one who can help me right now. And from that moment on, I said, I've totally left the lifestyle completely alone. And it was like at that moment, I said, I really, really have to start really bettering myself. Another moment was this, when I went to my mother's funeral and I saw my mother in the casket. That to me, when I was in shackles now, I'm in shackles at the casket. And I'm crying like I never cried before. And I told my mother, I said, Ma, I mean, although it's just a shell of her body, I said, Ma, I promise you, I will never dishonor you again. This ain't have nothing to do with nobody. It was me and her relationship. And my mother always telling me, I'm your only friend. I told you so. It was that relationship. Me wanting to go out there in the streets and hang with individuals who I thought was my friends. And my mother always telling me, these niggas in these streets ain't your friends. I'm your only friend. And until you understand that, you will learn the hard lesson. My mother always told me that. So this was me kind of reaffirming what me and my mother relationship was, saying to her, Ma, you right. I will never let you down again. And from that moment on, wallahi, I swear by Allah, my whole life got better. When I sincerely started practicing Islam and I left that lifestyle alone, everything, you guys saw the fruit of me leaving all the nonsense alone when we was in the gunk. Everybody saw, y'all bear witness to all of that.
That's a fact.
Yo, y'all tuned in to We Locked In. I'm your host, Moshe Canty. Hit that subscribe button. I'm here with my brothers, man, KK, my co-host KK and Mikey B. And we here with our beloved brother, man, Will, man. It's always a pleasure, man, talking to you. I love your energy always from day one, man.
Thank you, brother.
So let's talk about this trauma thing, right? So we had the conversation the other day about trauma. So if this is not a parole stipulation where you done spent 21 years in and out of the penitentiary. You was 8 years old being confronted by the homies on your block, and you turned blood at 13 in the streets, letting that thing fly. Yeah. And nobody ever talked to you about no damn trauma. So let's talk about that emotional transition. Like, how have you been able to make the emotional, the psychological transition? Are there moments where you're doing things that are like institutionalized type stuff? Like, like you looking at your wife funny, like, hold on, like, what's going on? Like, you thought she might have walked by you a little bit too close. Like, yo, you having some of those little blank out moments? Like, what's really, like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
But it's interesting that you bring up trauma, right? Because the only way we're able to deal with it is, forums like this. So, being inside, we didn't have a forum like this, but we had relationships with one another where we spin the yard, right? So this is kind of like, spinning the yard and confiding in one another, right? And that's how we dealt with our trauma. Like, whenever I had something going on in my mind, I might pull KK up. Yo, K, holler at me. I got to talk to you. And vice versa. Yo, Moshe, talk to me, brother. You look like you're going through something. And that's how we dealt with it. So it's, by the grace of Allah, I had years of practice, finding little outlets to deal with my trauma. Now, I've, fortunately, I've never been one to let it bottle it up. I sought out, outlets so I could express myself and learn how to deal with, what's going on inside of me. So, fortunately, I don't go through those, those moments where, somebody's walking behind me too close. These, thank God, because that's real though. Because some people are, they experience that. Fortunately for myself, I've always had an outlet to express myself and deal with, things that's going on within me. And I think, the advice is find somebody to talk to, brother. If you're going through these things, seek somebody that you could confide in. Get some help. I think that's what you're trying to encourage, right, brother?
Yeah, no, because I totally agree. And I mentioned this earlier.
If parole is not making this a stipulation, so clearly they don't give a damn about your trauma, right?
Yes.
They don't care about our trauma. Deal with that shit on your own, or reoffend, go back to prison. Like, they encourage that. They don't care about the things that we've gone through and how we handle it, how we deal with it on the inside, on the internal. So it's our job to find an outlet a positive outlet where we could release that steam.
And that's a great point. And the funny thing is that you know, I told you guys earlier, for those of us that was tuned in, there was an incident in which a mentally unstable individual pushed the other day, he pushed a woman onto the tracks at 40 Deuce in Manhattan. And she unfortunately lost her life. But before he had got to, according to accounts of what's been stated, before he had got to her, he was looking as if he was going to push another woman onto the tracks, but she kind of saw what he was up to and backed up, and he ended up pushing the other woman who, unbeknownst to her, didn't even see him coming, and she ended up perishing. But
that just happened in the Bronx.
This
right?
just happened the other day. 050 China in the building. Shout it out, my brother.
Peace,
Peace,
brother.
bro.
Yo,
What's up?
peace, bro. Pardon me. Will 050 China. I don't know if you brothers know each other.
Nah, I never had the pleasure, but
Man. How you
good to
doing,
meet you.
brother? Peace,
Doing
peace,
well.
peace.
So check this out. So I'm getting 050, I'm getting into how these individuals are sending us up north, and let me rephrase that. How we will go up north based on things we've done. Let me rephrase that. And do all the time that we do in prison, and yet there are no mechanisms in place to help us deal with the trauma once we've served all this time in these white man's institutions, knowing the trauma, emotional, psychological trauma that we've endured. Now, the point I'm making is that I was speaking about the incident which just took place, which the individual has been accused of pushing the woman onto the tracks, etc. Now, the first time I'm watching my TV, I see the guy walking out of the precinct yelling and screaming. Now, I asked my wife today, what was he saying? He said that he was God and that somebody messed up his planet or something like that, right? He's saying, you know, you evil people messed up my planet or something like that, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, right? But I saw in my observation, I said, damn, he looks like he's like mentally unstable, man. I hope that he's all right. That was the first thought came to my mind. I hope he's all right. But I didn't know that, you know, he was on parole. So this is how the narrative gets spent. That here goes another guy on parole who can't stay out in the streets because these parolees, this is the type of stuff that they do. But they don't mention nothing about mental health. And that's why we talk about trauma. The issue is like, do many of us need the help that we need? Because sometimes we think we all right, and then triggers make us overreact, and we ready to go. Like, yo, what? Yo, son, why does this dude keep looking at me? I'm driving, he cut me off. Like, yo, what's up with this dude? You start following him, and you know, you start bugging out. But my point is that at the end of the day, you know, they're not addressing that issue. But I didn't want to be too long-winded. I just wanted to basically give some clarity in regard to that, and I'm glad that you helped us get some clarity, my brother. But thank you. KK, you've been quiet. You ain't got no questions? You ain't got no comments? You've been up there real quiet.
Yeah, because you remember I told you, I've been like 3 days straight, nonstop, just working. I would just take care of some business right now, actually, while we was here. But I was definitely listening in.
Listen, brother, take care of your business. So
you
telling me you handling your business on WeLockedN, and you also handling business other places as well? Alhamdulillah, that's a lot. Yo, bro, that's a great life, right?
Yes.
050, he handling business on WeLockedN, and he's still on the phone like this. Yo, yeah, son, you
Moshe, listen, bro, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired right now, bro. Like, I'm really tired right now, bro. And I still got to run out, take care of stuff for my little brother because he was arrested. He got locked up for some nonsense. So I had to get him out. But then I got him an apartment, make sure he got like a bed, all this other stuff. Make sure, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure he's good. So like, before I came, it's crazy because we left from Otisville together. And we was together. Did what? How much time
we did? What, 2 years?
I got there. Was it 19? They did 2 years.
Day, me and you,
every
bro.
day. So every single day, bro. Serious. So when you're talking about surrounding yourself with people, and we knew each other in Shawanga, but we wasn't really like building with each other, but we knew each other. You know what I'm saying? It was respect. I know this was a good brother. You know, I was a good brother. Like, yo, what up? Blah, blah, blah. Always was good. So when we see each other there, it's like I ain't trying to be around a lot of these knuckleheads. I don't want these knuckleheads around me. And a lot of times in that type of facility, because it's a low class medium. That's all year around. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of sad in a sense, and he was feeling that way too. Like you see this guy's getting high all the time, and boom, and these guys you would want to help and work with, that you befriend, and you still see them destroying themselves. It hurt. I mean, it actually hurts. But surrounding yourself with the right people is one of the most important things, right? And it was something that was said earlier on when all the rest of the brothers was on here, when they mentioned the class on the non-traditional approach to criminal and social justice. Right, a lot of us done went through that and had that. And I was looking at that helped change the mindset, and it was education. You know what I'm saying? And it was education. And it really showed me how important learning is. Like, sometimes you really can't be held responsible in a sense because you're actually ignorant of the fact. Like you grow up into a condition, you get groomed a certain type of way, it becomes a part of you, it becomes a better you, and that's who you are, right? But the thing is, when you become aware of it now, right, there's still issues that you may have to go against. And this is something me and my wife was talking about. When a person becomes aware of their behaviors, you can either correct them, or sometimes what people do is make excuses, right? Even though they're aware of, because they make excuses for it, but why they're aware of them, because they don't know how to actually change them, or don't think they have the power or strength to particularly change them. So it's like, you know what? It is what it is. I am who I am. I'm at where I'm at. F it. Right. You see what I'm saying? And hopefully something do happen. If it don't, so be it. But not really knowing their own individual power. And all of the brothers that I've seen that was up here took their own individual power and started educating themselves, and not caring about what other people were saying or doing. But you know what? I have to do this for me. I have to do this for me. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when we kept
I think it's stopped.
Things can be so traumatic, or a person, we all here, sometimes a person may have to go through something traumatic in order to push them to that particular point, right? Because we never know what the point is in an individual.
He's going in and out.
You're going in and out. Going in and out, KK.
Yeah, he's going in and out.
Point is, like, remember when we was all talking, you know what I'm saying? I was fighting one case.
Yeah, the brother going in and out. It's hard to really understand what points he's making right now.
Yo, 05, and thank you for that, Will, too. Will, 05, yeah, we can hear you, but you down in the sticks and jaw. You stick here, stick there.
I think Mo.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, K. I can hear you now, brother.
You going in and out, bro.
Nah, it's just understand.
Yeah, he going in and out. He got to come in and come out.
Yeah, come in and go back out, K.
He got to come in and go back out.
Man? Come in and go back out.
You know me, I'm relaxing, man. I come over here to, you know what I'm saying, to listen to the positive.
This is like your decompression chamber.
Facts. But I also, yes. Y'all help me out a lot. I'm being honest, especially coming from my page and then coming over here. It's like it helps out, man, with my depression, my everything. But
man, you got your lane, so we respect it. We love you, man. No. So we get it.
I want to ask y'all a question. I got something on my mind as far as the topic or whatever.
What's up, Brody?
A lot of us, you know what I'm saying, we militant in prison. Like you, Moshe, Mikey B, y'all out here doing something positive, right? And there's brothers in prison who really want to do positive things, follow the same footsteps. And I see that as far as us getting released, is because just look at what they give us on release. They give us $40 in a bus ticket. Now, like me, I what they call it in prison, the jobs that you get or whatever the titles or whatever. Yeah, the programs.
Yeah,
I've been
Yeah. I'm starting to forget. That's good. I'm starting to forget about prison, what they got. You know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. That mean I'm doing something right.
The
But
job that you get, whatever
wait,
program,
I hear something in the background.
Yeah, somebody gonna turn it down.
Yeah, I'm starting to forget. That's good. I'm starting to forget about.
Yes, KK.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we good now.
That's you, KK. Go ahead.
That's KK.
Good, China.
But you know what I'm saying? Brothers come out here with the intentions on doing right. But society put them in a predicament where, you know what I'm saying, where what you gonna do with $40 getting off that bus and a bus ticket? You know what I'm saying? And even like me, I came home with titles. You know what I'm saying? I did the building maintenance, all that other, you know, them little titles that they give you. So when you go home, you could get you a little job for that. You know what I'm saying? Then they hit you with because you a fella. I don't know. In New York, I couldn't never get a job until I left New York. You know what I'm saying? Once I left New York, I get all the jobs I want because I guess, you know, they convict friendly. That's what they said in Florida. They convict friendly. They second chance. But as far as me being released, I've been released out of prison 3 times in New York with $40 and a bus ticket with 3 to 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? It seems like that's why the recidivism is high. Because it's brothers who want to do good, but they put them in shelters with dope fiends, crack fiends. You know what I'm saying? It's the circumstances out here. It's like they force us to go back to where we came from. You know what I'm saying? It's a lose-lose situation out here. You got to be really strong, or you got to have some type of. Lucky I had this time when I came home. Lucky I had a great family who said, "Listen, we shipping you out the state." You know what I'm saying? Now, when you out the state, you don't know nobody, so anything you do is on you. You know what I'm saying? And I made a great transition because my mind stayed the same way I was in prison, taking care of myself, working out, reading books. You know what I'm saying? On my ding. It was the same way when I came home because I wasn't around the negative shit. Now, if I'd have stood in Brooklyn, it's a big possibility I'd have been back in prison right now. So what I'm saying is, it's like the system is created to keep us trapped. You know what I'm saying? Now, I respect if the system was like, all right, in prison, you was working in the mess hall. We're gonna say you was working in the mess hall 2-4 years. You go home. We're gonna have a job that's out there when you leave that you're gonna still be working in the mess hall on a good pay. You know what I'm saying? Like they're giving you a position on the streets, but they ain't doing that. So it's like brothers left in society with nothing. Good intentions, but it's not out there. Ain't nothing out there for them. That's how I feel, man.
Yo, speaking to that, I understand where you're coming from, China, but that $40, like in prison, we spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on getting fly. I know dudes in prison that's fly than dudes in the streets.
That's a fact.
All right, so we can't save money. When I came out of prison, I came out with more than $40. I came out with some thousands, but I saved my money. I knew I was going home, and I saved my money. I looked forward to that. I knew when I went to that gate, if I depended on the state, I would only have $40. Therefore, I saved my money.
Did you have somebody in prison to help you, like sending Westies and all? There's certain people who don't have that.
I have family support me, but there's programs that give you a lot of money. There's better paying programs. You know, you can go to industry. You could do clerical.
Yeah, like
jobs.
me, I was working the tailor shop. So
yeah, if you go to industry, you get more money. But dudes spin it. Dudes is in there doing a lot of things they're not supposed to be doing. Like Will said, dudes is in there getting high, dudes is getting drunk, dudes is getting fly. You the flyest dude in prison. You know what I'm saying? You walk into the mess hall, you got Gucci's on, and you know what I'm saying? Get Gucci belts. This is facts. This is the reality of what we see in prison, right or wrong.
Nah, it's facts. That's real shit.
You muted. Well, I can't hear you. We can't hear you, Will. You muted. You trying to talk? I can't hear you. You muted. But
But what I'm saying is, once you, all right, you come home, you got a little money. You gotta realize people got kids, they got rent. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of responsibilities when you come home. Your girl who been taking care of you for your 3-4 years, she don't want to. That little 2,000 that you made in prison ain't gonna do nothing.
I mean,
Yo, you know,
That's rent. That's
China,
a 1 month rent in New York.
But let me tell you something. You see what we doing now, China? Everybody has different plans of reentry. If you come out here with thousands of dollars and you a hustler, legitimate. I'm not talking about, you see these hats sell for $40 or $50 a wop. If I go somewhere and get some hats, and instead of asking for a handout, I'm selling hats, letting motherfuckers know, yo, I'm coming home. I'm selling books. I'm selling hats. This is all, the whole thing about reentry and what we try to like bring out in this is the steps you need to take before you come out to prison. Before you even get here, there needs to be steps you need to take. Because if you come home with $40 and you like, yo, hold up, I just did 25 years and all I got is a bus ticket and $40.
That's majority of people in prison. That's what they come home to.
Because they're not using their time wisely. Because they're not using their time wisely. They're not taking the programs. They're giving out free college in prison now. I went to college in prison. It didn't last long because I was a godfather and they knew everything that was going on in the prison. I had something to do with it one way or another. So anything that happened, they took me to the box for it. Right or wrong. You know what goes on when you a big homie. You've been around. Right or wrong, KK. You ain't got to have nothing to do with nothing, Moshe. So these life choices and these people that we want to be around, and this type of stuff happens. I was around Will and Moshe and these brothers for years doing programs, running positive stuff in prison, and I ain't getting to no problems. Only problems I got into when it was what? Time to act up because of the gang, because of the homies and the shit I was a part of. That's what that was the bane of my existence. So coming back out to the community, retiring and doing all the things that I did now, that was a big help in me being successful out here, because if not, you got a lot of different eyes on you, and stuff comes to you.
So Mikey, you don't see y'all a little bit fortunate. Like me, I identify I'm a little bit fortunate than other brothers exiting out of prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you go ahead.
You are, comrade. You are. Now go ahead. I'll wait till you're done. But you're right. That's a great point. I'm listening.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of us is more, we got family, relatives, we got places to lay our heads. You know what I'm saying? We're a little bit fortunate. I know brothers who hold their little 3,000 and they in the shelter, still struggling. They don't know how to, they still dealing with flip phones. They don't even know how to use a Android phone. They don't know how to use nothing.
Yo, you right, Hat.
They don't have no resources. They don't know about resources. They don't know how to fill out an application.
No,
all this stuff is taught in prison, and that's
not
what
everything.
They teach you how to. So listen, bro. They teach you how to fill out applications on a computer.
All applications.
As a part of.
Let me interject
Hold on, Moshe. As a part of phase 3, which is the program that you take when you go home.
You right.
I'm not in the box. As a part of phase 3, they teach you how to fill out applications. And if that's something that you don't know, then that's something that you should find out while you're in there. A lot of these guys on this panel, we worked together to give people the information that they needed while they were in prison. Mozzie worked in the law library. I used to go to him. He's who I made my first resume, the first draft of my resume. He's the guy that helped me with it, that I put in my parole package in order for me to come home. I got a resume from him because I was working hard. A lot of us, we use our time to do a bunch of bullshit, and when we get to that door, we like, oh shit, 20 years up past.
Hey yo, I'm glad you said that. That's
pass and mad war stories and shit I did in the yard.
That's a real serious thing, because me and Moshe.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second, bro. Me and Moshe was working in transitional services, right?
Me too.
And like for a minute, we was in doing it, and I started doing phase 3. And what I was seeing, and this was kind of touched my heart, though. When I was seeing it, was like so many brothers was coming down here with home problems, not really having a place to go or live, job situations really wasn't straight, right? And they weren't really asking and looking to get the real information, though. And that was the problem. You used to have to really tell them over and over again, like, yo, this is what we have here, bro. Try to utilize this and get it because it helps. But a lot of them were not doing that because they caught up in the lifestyle or prison stuff or whatever, or think that that particular information, like, is not. Oh no, I don't really need that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. But when they get to crunch time, you got 2 weeks to go home, which I feel they be putting guys in phase 3 or whatever too late, really. I mean, that's just something that should be some information that should be given earlier. But some of the stuff do be outdated, which is one, because we actually had that conversation with one of the counselors about that, like how we could actually fix it up in our particular style and how we present it to brothers. But it does come from the individual. You have to ask and search for that information because some of that stuff be there, and it be ways that you can get help. But you gotta ask, bro. You cannot be afraid. You gotta open your mouth, bro, because everyone is not gonna just come out, here with this information, bro. Boom, boom. You have some that will, but if you ain't presenting yourself, you know what I'm saying, in that particular light or making yourself accessible, I mean, like it's not gonna happen. So you have to be serious.
Well, let me
be serious.
But KK, we're majority of us black people a lot of us who basically is who want to do good, but we in there fighting for a cause, supposed to be cause, and we in the box. I maxed out on all mines. Except the one I just did. I was lucky enough to go to these little mediums, but my other ones I maxed out. I didn't have a lot of us don't get the opportunity to go to a phase 1, phase 2.
You know what's crazy? I did stuff when I was in the box.
Can I?
Like, you want? Well, go ahead, Moshe.
Because he's addressing a key point that we haven't addressed, right? And I agree with him, right? And yes, many of us are fortunate, China. So I need to definitely state that needs to be stated. I had a wife, although I lost my mother, my father, my siblings, and stuff like that. I was fortunate to come home to a wife who had a very good job, to the extent that she could pretty much move us out of where we were in East New York and somewhere else. We can go wherever we wanted to go. All right. There is another part of that too, to Mikey B's point. And KK's point, are we educating ourselves while we're in prison to the point where those who we have influence over in the streets are executing and implementing the things that we're learning inside of prison? So prior to coming home from prison, I'm not going to take away the fact that, and I don't want to compare the person who doesn't have a wife, who's only going home to a shelter. This is a lot of people's reality, right?
Facts.
They may what about those who have the knowledge? What about those who studied the way we've studied, right? But don't have the wife, don't have the family, but who are going home to the shelter? That is a reality, right? Let's just keep it 100, right? Versus those who have a wife, but who choose, or females in their lives, who choose not to teach their people the proper information that they should be taught to help make their transition easier so that when they get out there. And the reason why I say that is because, look, KK, myself, Mikey B, we own companies prior to coming home from prison. And what did our loved ones do? They actually implemented the ideas that Mikey B, KK, and I was learning in the programs. Because let me tell you something.
Well,
these people in their programs are not going to be, they're not going to give us the programs that we need. So what we did was we had to create the programs ourselves that we knew would empower us outside of these prison walls. Because we're not getting that. We realized that the programs are inadequate. So one thing that we took advantage of is that we all had 24 hours a day while we were in prison. But what did each of us do? Mikey B, Will just said, Mikey B told him this: invest 8 hours of your day into your craft. I remember that's all we did was study all damn day. So now when I'm out here now, my wife see me sitting at the laptop. She's like, damn, you just sitting there all day like you got stuff to do, other stuff. And I'm like, yo, my bad. I just been studying all day. So my point is that, bro, I do believe that there is inequities, structural inequities that currently exist within the system that are designed keep us coming back and forth to prison. I do. There's no question about that. I do. To your point, China. But I agree with Mikey B and KK that our people are not taking advantage of the time that we have under the circumstances because they would rather be indulging in senselessness. And then once they get to that door, they like, oh, shoot, I ain't prepared. No, you didn't prepare yourself. So
That's right.
It's many areas that I just want to touch on. So
it's all about the decisions that we make.
You know, it's crazy because you said that like just about the time in the box, right? So dude used to get tight with me sometimes, right? Because I wasn't on the gate talking no nonsense. We ain't doing none of that. Come to the box, but I would get the books coming to my cell, get into the school program, even if I didn't have like, put me down for the joint just to come drop some books off, whatever, so I could do something. So I would get a correspondence course going with whoever. I remember I wrote this lady she did Bible study through the mail. I was just doing stuff to keep my mind occupied, time occupied, boom. Because for one, how the boxes is, they hear and see everything you're doing. So dudes is on the gate talking crazy, they recording everything. So like once, even when I was still like wilding and doing certain things, I knew not to do that. You know what I'm saying? Once I seen and know, like, yo, bro, they're taking down everything you're saying, all of this stuff. So all this information you think you're talking on the gate, boom, boom, you actually just giving out free information to tell it. You know what I'm saying? Really. So like, you know what? Get to the box, do what I need to do, educate myself, get back out the box and get the population. You know what I'm saying? That, and I was like that every single time. I use it as a point. You know what? I got mad stuff to catch up on. I've been running around pop, doing this, doing that. I'm in the box now. Let me focus in, get these letters right, start organizing this business stuff, then get back into this, get back into that. I actually utilize that time as to work even harder because now I ain't got to worry about locking out. I'm back in. You know what I'm saying? I go to my cell all day. Now I can really take it in. I remember someone told me this could be your grave or this could be your office. You know what I'm saying? You can actually build a huge $1 million company from this damn office. Because remember, you sitting in your office and you're working every day. So that's how that's what I made my cell into. Making my cell was my office.
I remember going to the ACAO KK to us. I mean, think about all the time you and I we spent in the mosque together. All the time we spent in transitional service together. KK, 050, this is no lie. KK is actually drawing up his not-for-profit in the mosque while we're sitting there. He's sharing with me his idea about his nonprofit.
He came with the name Conscious Minds, right?
I'm coming to him with Conscious Mind Ventures, right there. Saying, yo, this is the name me and my wife came up with. Yo, what you think about this? This is what our logo should be. We're gonna have a logo look
on the board, writing it out. Pop,
yo, I'm like, yo, this is what the company gonna represent. This gonna be this, and this is exactly how we were doing. Yeah, so we was really putting our heads together, and I think sometimes too, bro. No lie, man. Yo, me, KK, Will, and Mikey B before, because KK and Mikey B didn't get a chance to see each other in Shawanga. Listen to me, 050. Every single day when you saw us passing each other, I don't think the only time they saw me in the yard, I don't even know Will. Only time Will saw me in the yard was probably when we prayed together in the yard, right, Will? Like
that's it. Used to work out.
Work out. We working out, or we praying in the yard together, offering salat. But other than that, Mikey B, did you ever see me in the yard, Mikey B?
Nah, our program, you got to remember, I was with Haji in the morning. We was doing the print. I was doing the graphic design. I was learning graphic design and printing because of my company. In the afternoon, I would be in a law library. And at night, we would be in the ACAO. We really had no yard time.
Right there.
Yo, and when you think about it, I was working, me and KK, before he got there, I'm working in transitional services. And then after transitional services, I'm either in college and then going to the yard later on that night. So I didn't have no time. There was no hanging out in the yard for me.
Nope.
Somebody put in the YGTV, shout it out. Yes, you're right, my brother. May Allah have mercy upon the souls of all of those people who perished in the fire.
Yes,
you're correct. I was out there today with my wife. We went to the Janazah funeral. As we say in Arabic, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Allah is to whom we belong and it's to whom we all shall return. So may Allah have mercy upon them. It was a very somber event. And I didn't mean to just switch gears real quick, but it was a very somber event. It was arguably, I don't know if I will ever experience nothing like that in my life, but you have to, take into consideration that 15 hearses like this, I just want individuals to understand 15 hearses came by, 15 caskets were taken out of and put into the mosque, you know, and so this is something that is in my head right now. But to your point, yes, my brother, it was crazy today. I think it was like 1 million Muslims out there. It was crazy. But that's another conversation. Your 050, man, so much we could talk about regarding like just in general. Like, and I do agree with you. There's no lie. I do believe that they got these things set up.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Freaking come back.
They want us to come back.
No, it's no freaking question about that. But my
they
thing is,
they gotta keep that recidivism up there. They gotta keep it.
They have to keep.
If we stop going to prison, they stop having jobs. That's a fact. And if you look at it, the statistics, once it starts going down, they implement harsh law on us. Meaning that if you take a piss right there on the corner, you'll fuck around and go to prison. Something that you will get a ticket for. Because they realize that people ain't doing, the killing ain't up, the robbing ain't up. So they gonna look at the little stuff to arrest us on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they gotta find a way to keep prison running. They gotta find a way.
You know, I don't know who mentioned it. Maybe KK mentioned it. I don't know if bro mentioned it. Who mentioned it about, was it Will, about you're hanging with certain personalities? Was it you, Mikey?
No, Will had mentioned it first, and I had touched on it. I had touched on it some more, but Will had mentioned it first though.
Yeah. So that's another thing. And Mikey, all right, Mikey B he was the last one that said something. Who are we hanging with in the yard? Like, who are we hanging with?
Somebody in the chat said he got to start hanging with us. That'll be smart.
yo, no, real talk. Because I call you guys like 20 times a day, KK and Mikey, right? I call y'all probably too much. Our wives is probably done with us.
Moshe. Sometimes it ain't even who you rolling with. Because I know people I know good brothers, man. Who wasn't even involved in gang member stuff and just got caught up.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You know, in prison, it ain't really who you rolling with. Sometimes you could love a brother for him being a brother. He could be neutral. You know what I'm saying? And something happened to him, and just for your loyalty, you might go with him.
Yeah.
I know Muslims.
That's
I know.
That's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different thing, though.
Check this out, China. When I was with these guys, I was running a lot of programs. I was doing mad positive stuff, but I was still big homie. I was still big homie at that time. You see what I'm saying? Right or wrong, Will?
That's a fact.
Right, Moshe?
Absolutely.
Homies was around us, and I could never, with all the advances in book publishing and shit I did to my life, the homie shit will always keep me down. You got to remember, in the middle of all this shit, I'm going to 7 boards, bro. I was to 7 parole boards, bro. I could have been retired and went home, bro. I could have been retired and went home, bro. I'm a smart dude. I was smart in prison. I had my GED. I went to college. I was an IPA, but I was still banging. So no matter what I was into, positive, that shit will always haunt me because something is always going to happen. You have to answer. Hold up.
But Mikey B, you was playing both sides.
No, I was not.
You was playing both sides.
I was not playing both. No, there's not. It's not both sides, China. You have to listen. You have to listen and learn. I just told you it wasn't no both sides because I was big homie and everybody knew it. What's both sides about that?
No, I can't listen. This is what I'm trying to say, right?
There's no two sides.
Listen. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not gonna be on my dean and outside in the yard putting in work. It's either I'm gonna be on my dean completely, or I'm gonna have to put that to the side and be in the yard putting work. You can't put both of them together.
I agree.
You just can't.
This is where the problem comes in at.
Explain my point because he's telling me I can't do what I was living in my life.
No, I'm just telling.
Hold on. You said I cannot be both. It was no both sides.
Not you. It's probably me. It's probably me.
China, you gotta listen, bro. You said you can't play both sides. I was not playing both sides. I was big homie, and if some shit went down like it did, I answered up. It was no both sides. It was me educating myself and doing the right things in my life as a big homie.
And that's I'm glad you said that because
listen, the police,
I agree with China on this.
Everybody knew what I was in the prison.
I'm not Mikey B. I'm not saying. See, you took it
You're
somewhere
not
else.
understanding. So you
I'm
missed,
saying
you missed the full picture. For you to get understanding, you have to understand. You have to listen. You cannot talk and get understanding of my life.
I don't think he's saying that, Mikey. And correct me if I'm wrong, China. This is what I think he's saying, and I agree with him on this one. I think what he's saying is to the old saying, you can't serve two masters. Is what he's saying. Like because if hold on, just listen.
And I was not serving two masters. We keep talking about that because I was big homie. Everybody knew it, and I was answering up when whatever came to my plate.
No, Mikey, just listen. We hear what you're saying, but you have to listen as well. What I'm saying,
listen, bro, but it's not two sides. It was one side because I was on the homie side. I was a big homie. It was
all right. Listen what I'm saying. Right? If in the daytime or in the evening and in the nighttime, you're the big homie, right? But you're having
all day I was a big homie.
I just said that.
All day I was a big homie.
I just said that. I said if in the morning time, in the afternoon, in the evening time, and then you just say all day, it's the same thing, Mikey. So this is what I'm saying, right? If you're doing this, right, and then you're also doing progressive things, what China's saying is that
I'm saying.
There's going to be a clash between these two things. The reason why,
and that's what I was.
I know, but that's what he's saying.
Until he interrupted, I was explaining the clash, and I was explaining what I was going to explain is I had to leave that behind me. But it wasn't serving two masters. Listen, he said serving two masters. I wasn't double banging shit. I was one thing. Everybody knew what I was. I was just doing positive things in my life as a gangbanger. That's what you got to understand. I didn't hide my hand to go to those classes. They bring me to those classes with everybody loved me in those classes as who I was, Mikey B, the big homie. So it was no two sides of that. It was me having to get something out of my life in order to be positive and to do other things in my life. To go on
yes.
Other things.
I think that's just semantics because I don't think he's saying it to the extent that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's saying it to the extent. I think he's agreeing with you, and I agree with you that. But I'm saying that if you are the big homie, that at some point there's going to be a clash between you, and that you're going to have to make a choice. I'm saying that at some point you're going to have to make a choice between whether or not you're going to continue to be the big homie or you're going to continue to do, And I think you made a choice. You said, you know what, I'm done with this lifestyle because I want to live my life like this way. And I think that you can't. And I agree, you can't. I knew I couldn't do both. I couldn't say I'm deaning all day long and still I'm being the big hat all day long. Like I just knew that it was going to be at a point where I was going to collide and I had to make a choice. So as opposed to me getting to a point where I said these ideals, these contrasting ideals, you know what I'm saying, would clash, I made a choice and I said, you know what, I'm going to leave the gangbanging lifestyle alone, and I'm going to focus solely on my deen and try to help me correct that part. And that's where things I said got better for me. And I think the same thing. I mean, you was Mikey B, you was doing your thing, great. You know what I mean? That was nobody questioned that. But even me, I was upset. Yo, let me tell you something. 050 and KK.
See, that's it. Because I wanted to just before you go there because it was the same thing, and I had went through that same thing for a long time, right? And I've always told dudes, if you're standing by what you're standing by, right, and you're representing what you're supposed to be representing, right? So we can go into the 5, right? If you're representing this, right, then you would be doing progressive things, right? So now a lot of individuals is like, oh, yo, you can't be. Why can't I? It says you're supposed to be doing this. So if you remember, both of y'all was there. If you remember earlier on in the beginning, blood used to always be in services, right? Muslim service, whatever services, no issues. Dudes was always because dudes was on the right particular path. Dudes is representing what they supposed to represent. That's like I remember if you remember Brother Rennie, he used to run a wild thing. That was one of his big speeches he used to give. He said, I get along with every brother from these different organizations, those that are real to them. Because he said, I know your rules, I know your regulations, I know your stuff. So if you're actually representing that for real, then we would have no issue. It would be none of that. But now when the mixing starts, when you want some set trip and stuff, when all you want to do is get high all day and not doing this, and all you want to do is oppress and do certain things, then it's going to be an actual problem, because now you're involving the criminal mindset and the criminal lifestyle into something that's supposed to be you say an organization that's built towards building whatever else. So when you intertwine those particular two, that tends to become a huge problem, because now the criminal thinking can't really be involved with the revolutionary thinking and the forward movement thinking. So those are the two actual conflicts that come on. Because now if I'm supposed to be representing something, I say I'm representing the 5, get oppression, I'm for family, and this and that, and you ain't supposed to be getting high. You know that. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So I'm for that. But then I have these guys coming in with the criminal mentality, like, this is what we do. And get high. Do stick ups.
Basically.
Hold on. This is a great conversation. Hold on. We tuned in. Y'all tuned in the week. Hold on, K. Y'all tuned in the We Locked In. I'm your host. I'm here with my co-host Mikey B and KK. Yo, man, I love this, man. This is great.
This
so
is
we
it
have
right
these
here.
different
Check it out.
ideas. Why don't y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that.
We all together in Shawanga, right?
Oh,
this is important right here, China. Check it out.
We all together in Shawanga.
We all together in Shawanga. Will was neutral at the time. I was big homie. Moshe's Muslim. We all together. If anything happened when y'all was around, would y'all have helped me?
Personally, if I see that if you about to get into something, I'm gonna stop you automatically because I love you. So I'm stopping you automatically.
I'm just saying.
Yo, Mikey B, I can ask you one thing.
Come on.
Everybody ain't Mikey B. You got a lot of followers. You don't have that many leaders. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody can't go to Juma and then go to a powwow in the yard. You know what I'm saying? It's big homies that ain't gonna have that. Let's get to that. You know what I'm saying?
You got gonna have to go to all kind of religions, bro.
No, you have, but I've been around some of them. They ain't having that.
Yeah, some dudes.
Yeah, they ain't having it. They
I
is
don't know
not
what
with
you're
that.
talking about because I've been in all the jails. Some of the religions is not having that.
Some of the religions
is not having that. I've been to places where they say you can't be blood and be Muslim. I've been to places where they say you can't be Rasta and Muslim.
Mikey B, only thing I'm saying, when you a leader, you have more options than somebody who ain't a leader. It's more pressure that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Probably because I'm saying it is wrong.
Oh no.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you why. And I used to always tell this to my little bros.
Yeah,
right?
you could be Christian and be blood.
When you move up in rank, I say, yo, be happy being a soldier, because that's light. You just go out, smoke some, whatever. That's light. The more you move up, you become a representation of the entire brand, right?
Now
you become the brand. So everything you do is a reflection of everybody else. When you become,
but KK,
when you reach that particular status.
I'm not saying that, man. I'm saying that when see, some of y'all must have, y'all been leaders for a long time, so y'all can't y'all lost the sight on how the people under y'all view things nowadays. You know what I'm saying? The younger brothers, if he sit down and you see a young brother, because I was one of them young brothers, homie, you going to where? To service? It was like a cloud over them, homie. You got to pick one of those. You know what I'm saying? And some people probably love this Damu shit, love it to death, but they ain't going to Juma due to certain situations.
I've seen that.
You know what I'm saying? They want to go, they want to learn, but it's the peer pressure there. They probably be around Moshe and get lucky to go to Juma. But once they go to Auburn or go to another spot with somebody who fluent you like Moshe, but fluent you on some, it's time to go, nigga. We don't got time to sit because we might got to go at the Muslims too.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
I've been there when
to a certain extent. I'm just talking about, I only been home for 1 year.
Yes, brother.
You got homies in Rasta everywhere I went.
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't.
What
I'm
you
not,
saying?
and then I seen, I've been in spots too. I seen where homies pick sides. Next thing you know, you was making salat with this brother. Next thing y'all know, y'all chasing each other over in the yard because your lawyer you set with Damu. I'm
Listen
being
to what I'm
honest.
saying.
I've
I
seen it happen before.
I understand what you're saying like that, but I personally,
I'm
when I
just saying it
all
put it.
Clinton and all, it was the religions that didn't allow brothers to be gang and to be in. It wasn't the
All
home.
right, I understand that. I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's facts.
All out of state I've been, it was the religions. And let me tell you something. NOI in prison is primarily homies. Almost every jail I've been to is mostly. I'm wrong about that, Will?
Nah, you're right. You're right.
So I'm just saying, I was Rasta. You know, I was Rasta around the state. All the Rasta Jamaicans know me for being Rasta. I got pictures with me, man, doing germs, and I gave it to Man, do he put it on his page? I gave a picture. I said, man, do you remember this picture? I gave it to him some months ago, and he put it on his page. We all at Rasta Surface. Mano, Pain Brim, Germs, The Stone, and Man Do. It's 5 of us in the picture. That's Rasta Service in 2003. I'm just saying, I understand where you're coming from about with the double bank.
I'm just saying, Moshe, you got fortunate to be around that. You fortunate. You know what I'm saying? Where you was at, I wasn't there. I probably was somewhere else. Where Moshe was at, every place have different type of leaders.
Well, let me.
Everywhere wasn't the same.
Let me agree. I'm gonna agree with all of you guys, but I see China's point, and I'm gonna say something, right? Mikey B, you raise a valid point. From the Don Moose perspective, these individuals always felt like they could go to any particular religious denomination and be accepted within that denomination. That is true, right?
Facts.
So you can go to church. When we was in downstate, everybody used to meet up at the church. All right. If you go to another jail, you go to Rasta. If you go to another jail, you could probably go to the mosque, etc., etc. Right? Now that is true from the gang's perspective, right? But religiously, from a religious standpoint, it's no way you can be as a Muslim today. It's no way that you can adhere to two separate ideologies, saying you are a Muslim, a practicing Muslim, and you are also adhering to another lifestyle. And the reason why, and I'm going to break this down, and I hope I don't take people, too far into the movement, right? So there's a statement that one says when you're into the religion of Islam. It's called La ilaha illallah. And that basically states that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah. So that means that while there are other people, there are other things, there are other creations that are being worshipped, like money, notoriety, people, and so on and so forth. These things are being worshipped. We're taught that Islam teaches that the only one who has the sole right to be worshipped is Allah. Now, this is where the conflict comes in at, right? And this is why you can't worship Allah and also commit other acts of worship towards his creation. Say, for instance, a big homie, your homie, or whatever you are part of, says to you to do something that your religion forbids. If that is the case and you do it, then you have now associated partners with your creator, and that is called shirk. That is that is a crime in Islam. That is the biggest crime you can commit. If you adhere to another concept contrary to what Allah has commanded you to do, then you have disobeyed the law and you have obeyed someone else. You have committed shirk. So this is why religiously you can't be both Muslim and something else. Now, because the homies or anybody else who might not have knowledge of that, they say, yeah, you could do both. You could go over there and do both. That's only because their knowledge is limited and they don't have no understanding from an Islamic standpoint. Now, I'm not aware of what the other school of thought say religiously, but I do know even the Bible says that you cannot serve two masters, right? And I believe that is in alignment with the concept of a Muslim saying La ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu rasulullah, which is, and I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and that I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and messenger. So the only one you're supposed to be following is Allah, who sent his message down to the messenger, who gave you a complete and comprehensive way as to how you are supposed to live your life. If you're doing anything contrary to that, you are associating partners with your Lord. And that right there alone is a major sin. And that needs to be clarified right there.
All right, to add on, because somebody, I like that statement right now that stop you just put, right? Don't let what you cannot. So a lot of the things, and what Cuba was saying, we heard you, Cuba. A lot of the things that was going on was actually hindered a lot of individuals from progressing, because some who may have wanted out of these particular organizations, gangs, or lifestyle, whatever, and would go to whatever religious group and be denied that, they may have needed that particular point to actually change them. They may have needed that particular little push to help get them to another point in their life. It's just like somebody who's on a dope fiend or whatever and is asking for some help, or boom, and you give them that help, and that one little bit of help may actually change that person's lifestyle. But just to get back on particular track and the reentry aspect and being successful in that, right? Not allowing them particular things to help hold you back. If you can't go to, if you can't do something to actually cultivate your soul, because that is something that is much needed for a person that's in prison going through what they're going through, and also to make a successful transition out of here. That is one of the most important things. My thing is always mind, body, and soul. Working out, certain things to cultivate your soul, you know what I'm saying? It's something actually to get your mind right. So if you're not doing those particular things and you're allowing your gang or even your religion, because I've seen individuals that were in particular religion, but still their soul wasn't right, their mentality wasn't right. They was just in the particular religious thing to either, like I see, either put some people either hide, which is the fact that does happen, or people will look for some type of comfort or familiar or just a familial setting, right, in the prison, because they don't really have any, right, and that particular thing becomes their family, but their thinking in their soul hasn't been worked on. Really, they just use it as balm to cover the wounds that they got from all the trauma. So the thing is really focusing on yourself, no matter whom or what, if you're trying to get home. I'm saying if you're trying to get home, because I tell people that ask you, oh, yeah, you don't seem like you did this time. You don't see that. Because I say, you know, it's crazy. I found freedom in prison. And a person has to do that. This is why we say one of the things that we push on here: find freedom in you. You have to find freedom in yourself. Not letting your gang, not letting, you know, the religious thing or whatever, the guards, whatever's going on that's holding you back from moving forward, because only you know how you particularly feel. So once you know that, you have to remove those particular things. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I stopped, even when I was like, I'm gonna say, me and Moshe don't like using that term neither, falling back. I don't like using that term falling back neither, because I don't say that. I just kept elevating, right? So even as I did that, right, I knew that who I surrounded myself with, even though I stopped doing certain things, I still was surrounding myself around the same people, right? And one thing that happened, I shared this with Will too, one of our talks. I was on the phone. I was talking to an assembly woman, right? Have my boy go there, go check on her. She was trying to help get me home for clemency. I had somebody that was talking to Cory Booker. He was willing to help me out and talk with me. And this was right before he went in and put his thing in and run for president, though. There were other notable people that were willing to help, and I'm locked in on it. Boom, I'm contacting them. I got calling them. I'm on them. One of the little homies shoots something in the house that I'm in, right? And I'm in Katsaki at the time. I'm in the dorm in Katsaki. Dude shoots something in the dorm. They come snatch 4 people out of it, including me. Other guys ain't have nothing to do with it. I have no, but they just did that because of who I was around. Not only just that, but the reputation as well. So they didn't know whether, damn, he's still the big homie, ain't he? He did all this stuff. Well, this happened here, and he was there. He was in that house. So I know he had something to do to, or at least knew about it. He going down too, give him the same ticket, right? That jammed me up, bro. Like, I'm on the phone talking to all of these influential people, and they're trying to help me. Not only that, I'm trying to help get some of the homies in a better position to help get them out, right? I get jammed up. I goes down for a gang cutting. I ain't even know about anything about. You know what I'm saying? So the thing with who you're around actually plays a huge factor. Because when things go on, police, whoever, they start, he was there, I seen him over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they'll mention like him. He'd be in transition services in the mosque all day. Or him, they'd be over there working out every day, all day. We know where they at. Right there. Either he there or he working.
It was no secret to what we was doing in ACAO. It was like, I mean, they could have the superintendent could have came and sat with us and participated in. They would have been sitting right there listening to every program we was putting together, and we would have never stopped as if we was doing anything wrong. Because what we was doing, we was talking about bettering ourselves. So I do agree with you guys that hanging with, and that's what I had to eliminate. When I got to Elmira after spending the time in the box, I noticed that a lot of the homies thought that they could kind of like hang around me, like yo, and I was like, yo, bro. It was hard for me to kind of say to my younger bros that these is young bros that looked up to me, but I wanted to show them like a better way to like not only how to cultivate yourself more deeply, but the only way I felt like I could show them at the time was through my actions. I could say anything out my mouth like, yo, I'm doing this now, I'm doing that, I ain't doing that no more, I'm doing that. But I think the best way for me to show them was through my actions. Now, I know there was times I needed to clarify things for them to give them a better understanding of why things got to the point that they were at. But I think if they saw me on an everyday basis with the books in my hand, every time the gate open up, I'm moving, going to the lower library, going to the general library, going to the mosque, going from here, not hanging out in the yard. But when you see me, I got books open, I'm studying, I'm doing this. That was my best way to show them that this is how you prepare yourself to make the transition up out of there, right? And I think that many individuals that were around me benefited from it because they was like, yo, they know when they got around me, you were going to get you some wisdom, you were going to get you some books, and Moshe was going to try to help you prepare for getting back out there to society. And I think what we're talking about is when you on that journey for re-entry, you got to have in your mind that, listen, at some point, you got to literally rid your mind of this criminal mentality that ultimately led to you coming to prison. If you're not doing that, if you're not cultivating, if you're not planting the seeds, I think Tyson from Urban Life magazine said it the other day. Like, you got to plant, what type of seeds are you planting in your mind? Are you planting criminal-minded seeds? Were you talking about, yo, when I get home, I'm going to get this bread, I'm going to do some scam, and I'm going to get back, handle this business, and somebody had that money for me, I'm going to get to that bag, and they better make sure they get that to me. If you talking like that, and that's where your mind is at, and it's on a criminal type of lifestyle, then more than likely it's going to ultimately manifest itself through your actions. It might manifest itself while you're in prison, or it might manifest itself once you're released back out there to the streets. But if you're in your mind and you're saying, you know what, when I leave here, I'm putting together a foolproof plan as to what I intend on doing when I get up out of here, and I'm gonna have me a list of my goals, my 1 week goals, my 2 week goals, my 1 month goal, my 3 month goal, my 6 month goal, and I'm not gonna let nothing distract me from that. And you're putting thoughts into your mind that you're going to be a business owner, you're going to make millions, you're going to network with people, and this is what you're going to be doing. I think at some point you're going to do that, right? Because you're focused on your goals, right? And I bear witness to that. Man, I can go get you right now and show you that before I left prison, I had a bunch of goals. I don't know if you remember, KK, me putting my goals together, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to do when I get out of here, step by step. I'm not hanging with no individuals that's doing criminal stuff. Now, go ahead, my brother. I apologize.
No, I was gonna say, no. Pardon me, bro. I was gonna say just that you had inspired me some do it because I'm more of just I'm bad with just jotting and putting step 1, step 2, step 3, right? But I know that everything that I've looked at as far as leading to success, people do that. They have charts, they have vision boards, they have, have all these things, all these successful people. This is what they actually promote. So it's like, hold up, if I want to be successful, if I want to get this type of bag, if I want that type of bag, right? What do the people that have that type of bag do? You know what I'm saying? And it's just being smart. What do these people do? So if these people, all right, they sacrifice, they set goals, they set a step-by-step plan for them to actually follow. They actually follow it, right? Majority of them don't get high, don't drink, right? Majority of them are family orientated, honorable, have integrity. So if all of these little particular things, then that's what I have to follow. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be that. But I used to ask that question inside so much. I'm like, yo, people used to confront me sometimes. It's just about people talking or hating, whatever. Because, you know, they ask about the family. Oh, yo, Waka, Dad, boom, boom. But dude to sit there and be talking, I'm like, yo, why you wouldn't holler at me? Why wouldn't you want to try to befriend me or something? I'm not. If you're trying to come up or if you're trying to do something with yourself or link up and build something, why wouldn't you come holler at me and trying to build? Instead of going off in the side corner with somebody else that's not doing nothing, that may trying to belittle you and sit there and talk about it, even on social media, even this, from being in prison and watching the nonsense that was going on, how dudes was going to prison left and right, how dudes creating all these imaginary beefs left and right over nothing, instead of looking at, you have access to the world. You have access to network with so many type of people when you're not trying to utilize that to build yourself up or build your family up. So it made me think, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong? It's just about being smart. What's wrong? What are you trying to accomplish in life? What are you trying to do? Like, so coming from prison and coming home, if you already have those particular things in mind, like everyone here has said, the transition has been smooth. And I'm still looking at people how amazed they like, yo, because dudes already had it figured out as far as the best particular things there is in life, and that's character. One of the particular things. I'm saying,
hold on, KK.
Characteristics and good qualities. See the brother, right?
Yo,
let the brother just pulled up, right?
So the brother 2 Gat Nat just pulled up in the building.
Finally got in after 2 days.
Gat Nat just pulled up in the building. My brother, what's up, my brother?
Salute to all my brothers. Yo, KK, I ain't see you yesterday. You already know I love you, Stoney. You already know how me and you go, bro.
What's up?
Yo, I'm here. I'm enjoying the conversation. Obviously, I'm familiar with the topics of the conversation, and I'm just listening to you brothers, man. I love this show right here, man. Moshe, Mikey B, you already know.
Come
love
on,
y'all,
man.
I
love you, bro. What up, 2 Gat?
We love you, man.
Yeah, I know, bro. What I'm saying? And a long time, we got history. We all got history. We all got our own history. We already know. We already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we all free. You know what I'm saying? We all free. We all doing well. You know what I'm saying? I spoke to Shot Quell today for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. He plugged me into Blue Boy and Mario Machete and all that right there. I know that's a little off topic.
Mario Machete hit me up.
And so I was telling Quell that we need to start. I know it's a little off topic, but I was telling Quell earlier today that we need to start a program where we unify homies and homeboys together, and we create a program so that we can show the youth what this shit is really about. Because as we all know that they are out of whack right now, and we would definitely have Blue Boy on the set. You know what I'm saying? And Mario Machete representing the Rat Hunters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now instead of all this negative shit that's going on in the world, shout out to 50 China Brim.
Peace, brother. I see you in the building too, guy.
Yeah, I'm in the building, bro. Shout out. I ain't gonna forget you. I don't know the other brother that's up top right there. Shout out to you, bro. My name is 2 Gat Nat.
I'm Will. What's up?
Will, you know what I'm saying? But all these brothers right here that you see right here is my day one, my comrades. You know what I'm saying? We've been through a lot together. I got history with each of them. But if we're gonna turn today's show, I already know what today's show is about. Today's show is about the growth and development of Olas and those who worship their one God while they representing Ola. You know what I'm saying? And I heard the saying as well.
That's where it kind of veered off into. But
that's why I picked up at.
It started off on a like a, I won't call it a reunion, but brothers who were in Shawanga together. It was about the conversation was about reentry, how much times the brothers did, what helped them prepare, to get into society again, what that transition looked like, the successes, the challenges, what's being done to refrain from going back. You know what individuals had to do to
Oh,
help
right.
get them to the point. But that led, you know how I go, man. We just went into
Right.
various
talking about, and when you tuned in,
all right. So we talking about we talking about reentry, the reentry process.
That's what we talking
Correct.
about, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the reentry process. So if you allow me to speak, I'm saying my reentry process is that I took all the programs. I'm gonna tell you from my perspective. Everybody else, from what I heard so far, have a different perspective about their reentry process. My reentry process is this. I did all the programs, I was banging hard. I'm saying I went hard, whatever the case may be, for almost 24 years, 23 and a half years, whatever the case may be. And then I started taking freedom serious. So I started participating in all the programs, ART, ASAP, although I never got caught in my life with a seed of drugs, never had a dirty urine in my whole fucking bit, You know what I'm saying? But I had to take ASAP because my charge involved me robbing somebody for some drugs and killing them. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know how that coincide, but they made me take ASAP because they said that my charge was revolved in ASAP. Anyway, I took the program. But the best program that I ever took in my life, in my years, was Exodus. It was a 9-month program created by Jose Medina, and it made you really, you know what I'm saying, delve into the errors of your ways as you was a juvenile. When you was a kid or whenever you committed your crime. I was 17 years old when I committed my crime. I had 2 murders and attempted murder all on the same day. And you know what I'm saying? My story is I blew the 37 and a half years of life, gave back 14 years and a half of life. I'm saying ended up doing 23 years. I was sent to 23 years. I ended up doing 24 years, whoever the case may be. They let me go. So now, the best program I ever was involved with was Exodus. And Exodus taught you about reentry, but when I came into the real world, March 11, 2021, I went to Exodus. I went to other different programs. CEO helped me out, and it was hard for me to adapt to society and maintain a certain wage in which I needed to live in society. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't for the strength of the people that I knew, not even banging, because I actually officially retired, you know what I'm saying, from the gangbang lifestyle. My wife is not hearing that. She was not trying to hear that at all. You know what I'm saying? My wife is anti-gang. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, as I came back into society, bro, you know what I'm saying? It was hard for me. If it wasn't for my family members and certain people looking out for me, I would have been messed up. I'd have been messed up right now. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to get a job through CEO and still work an off-the-book job to maintain myself and my wife, who held me down for 19 years. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the
my
blessing.
re-entry process wasn't like everybody else's, but it's keeping me stable right now. You know what I'm saying? So we all got our own different stories.
That's right.
That's what's up, man.
That's a blessing, man.
You got anything to say? I mean, give them your IG.
Do something with that. Do something with that. Come on, y'all geniuses. Oh, yeah, genius.
Moshe,
do something with that. Like,
Moshe the genius.
Oh, we already know. We already know. Mo is the George Jackson, the serious George Jackson of the bunch. We know Mo. You know what I'm saying? We know Mikey B. So I was just telling.
You freezing up, bro.
Yeah, he freezing up.
I was telling.
He moving around. He knows Wi-Fi ain't that good.
I said, I'm telling you, everybody that we actually in real life, we knew that Moshe, I ain't gonna lie to you, Mo. They'll say you my bro and everything. That's the hat salute and all that, bro. I would have never expected you to become straight Muslim. You hear me? Straight up. I would have never expected. Huh?
I think he went to use the bathroom or something for a minute, probably.
I would have never expected that at all. You know what I'm saying? I thought that he was going to be on some straight revolutionary, you know, straight George Jackson, straight everything. We all know who Moshe is. You know what I'm saying? And Mikey B, he was always a genius. A fucking genius. A fucking mastermind, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right, doggy?
Always working,
right,
bro.
doggy?
You know, always working, bro. You know how we do, you heard? Always working, bro.
Yeah, he's spending.
Oh, yeah, all right. But yeah, y'all give me your Instagrams, yo, two guys.
The best that ever did it right now. I am so proud of all of y'all, man.
That's a fact, bro. Good to see you out here in the streets.
I'm so proud of all of y'all. Will, I don't know you, bro. I'm sorry, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying?
Good
but
guy.
obviously, if you sit on this platform right here, you somebody special. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, I salute you.
Great guy, Will.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Salute you.
Yeah, I got a question for you, brother. I got a question for you if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, let's go.
You say you just came home in March, right? March 2021?
Yeah, March 11th, 21, yes.
And you said you did 24 years, right?
Yes, 24 years.
All right. So, and you still go by you say you retired now. You no longer in that lifestyle anymore, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So, do you still like go by the name Two Gat Nat? Like, do you feel like that you conflicted? Cause not for nothing, you know, I believe name have power. So if I go around calling myself murder, you know, I put that in my mind. This is what I represent. I represent murder. You understand what I'm saying? So if your name is Two Gat Nat, do you feel conflicted? You know, here it is. You trying to separate yourself from that lifestyle, but yet you still identify as Two Gat Nat.
Yes. You know what? I ain't gonna lie. I appreciate that question. My wife is over here shaking her head, yes, up and down. I ain't gonna lie. You got her open right now. She's shaking her head up and down. And I find myself with that confliction every single day. I don't know. My brother, I've been locked up I've been incarcerated since I was 17 years old. And my name and my name was God Body. I was part of the Nation of Gods of Earth. And my name was Natural Born Allah. Natural Born Allah. And I mastered 120. All the guards who were around me would know that I actually mastered 120. And it was over a shooting that I was a little young homie, and I was up next. I had to take a deal that was upstairs on the 4th company in Clinton, and I had to take a deal, and I ended up bringing with me a razor, a scalpel, which was a scalpel, and a knife, a ceramic knife with me. Because I knew the person I was dealing with was a serious business, and he had to go because he was the enemy of homies, whatever the case may be. So now, when they call out companies, they usually don't call 1, 2, 3 together with 3, 4, 5, and 6 in Clinton. This is in 2001. So one day they called 3, 4, and 6, and I was on 3 company, and the enemy to be was on 4 company, another black man. I went out the hallway, and we was going down the side, and we was going outside, going down the stairs, and my jaw hit him. So my thing was, his company was supposed to go out before my company was supposed to go out, and I knew that he was going to be ready, waiting for me. He would have already have got his hammer on the steps, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying, outside in Clinton. And I knew that if I came out, he was going to attack me as soon as I came out to the yard. So that was my reason for bringing the ice pick with me, the ceramic ice pick with me. Anyway, our company was called together in Clinton, and I seen him in the hallway. So I knew he was full, so I went to go attack him. So I attacked him, boom, with the knife. He was bigger than me. He was stronger than me. And as I had him on the staircase, he disarmed me from my hammer, took my hammer from me. And if he'd got full control of the hammer, I'm sure that he would have did me dirty. He'd have did me filthy. You know what I'm saying? He'd have did me filthy because he was a gangster. But as I was laying on top of him on the stairs, as I was trying to stab him and he was trying to take my knife away from me, I realized, I remembered that I had a fucking razor cheek inside my butt cheeks. You know what I'm saying? So I took the fucking, I took the hammer, took the razor outside of my butt cheeks, and I cut him while he was laying on the stairs.
Hold on.
And when I cut him as hard as I could. And he jumped up, pushed me on top, off the top of him, and he ran down the stairs, and he ran inside the hallway. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, I went to
How did it get from re-entry?
Now Will actually
his name.
His name.
But I don't think Will was looking for the story behind
He gave the whole.
Why are you still calling yourself Two-Gat?
That was it right there. You heard?
I'm hoping Two-Gat ain't walking around the streets.
Yeah, listen. This is my. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna get back to your question.
Yeah, he was answering. He was answering.
When started calling me all kinds of names because they was proud. They was proud of me for taking that deal and doing what I did and coming out on top. So now there was a lot of names. Yo, we gonna call him this. Somebody said, "Nah, we gonna call him Two-Gat. We gonna call him Two-Gat that." And that's how my name stuck. So I stick with that name because that was like the first major work that I put in for my homies, the brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? So I never want to lose that identity. I never want to forget who I became because who I am today is Two-Gat that.
Yo, YGTV, you spelled that wrong, man. It's funny, yo.
All right, brother. I just thought I.
You see what I'm saying? So
yes, sir. I just thought I asked.
It is
crazy because
it is hard to differentiate. But my name is natural. You know what I'm saying? For the brothers that want to call me something, my name is natural.
All right, so if you don't mind, brother, I'm gonna call you natural.
Natural. Put the home.
All right, brother. You don't mind, I'm gonna call you natural.
Listen.
That's my best.
If that name is a direct name from blood, if you got that as a blood name,
all right, that's cool.
A lot of people don't know my name, Mikey B, was before I turned blood. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They was calling me that shit in green in 94, 95. I turned blood in 96. You know what I'm saying? Going to 97. But if that name is a direct, rite of passage into blood, then it is something that you should really consider changing, like Will was saying. I understand that.
Yeah, I just believe that names have power. I mean, so that's all. But you said
they don't.
If I want to be natural, I would natural. So that's what I'm gonna call you, bro.
Let me tell you something about that too. Before we go on, Moshe, because we about to close. It's almost 3 hours. It's a great chat. I love it. We in overtime right now with y'all. China 050, the movement. We in overtime. But I respect it. It was a good story. We got Two-Gat now in here. But let me tell you something. And America capitalizes on our brands and names we built. Somebody else said that in a question earlier. Like, if the name that you use, if a potential opportunity comes from that name, what do you think? These are names and the brands that are built.
Oh, nah, I understand that fully. If you bring
had a story called American Gangster.
Absolutely.
They had a story called American Gangster, and they made millions off of these guys' names out of all this gangster shit that happened in America. So if you have a way that you can capitalize on your name, feed your family, and help the community, by all means, use that name, bro. Use that brand that was built for something positive and something good, bro. You know?
You can figure out what that represents. Nobody else have to define that. Two-Gat that could mean something completely different.
Exactly. But it was good to ask the question on, what the name is, and if it's something that, because Two-Gat Nat is a hell of a name. This is a hard name. It's a hell of a name, you heard? Yo, you
Yo,
muted,
well,
KK.
Let's see. Nat
Well-
Turner had 2 pistols.
well, I got the name Moshe, you know, because I came out of my mother's womb. That's a long story, but I'm gonna save that for the next episode.
Yeah, that's right. Rap this.
Yo, all right, yo, look, man. Yo, man, we thank everybody for tuning in with us at We Locked In, man. All our family, all our friends, our supporters, man. We thank 050 China for pulling up. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, my brother. My brother Will, man. Thank you for coming on the panel. We finally got you up here, my brother.
My honor.
You know what I'm saying? And two Gat Nat, aka Natural, aka Bushwick Nat.
AKA Nat Turner with a burner.
You know,
unbelievable.
You know, I speak for my co-host KK and Mikey B, man. We locked in. I love y'all, man.
I still got it.
Hey, yo, let them know your two Will, let them know how they can follow y'all.
Hey, I'm not even on social media, none of that yet. So in due time I have something. In due time I have something.
All right, man. Yo, listen, man.
What's your Instagram you got?
Can't even hear him right now, man.
That was him.
What the thing that for? Pump.
Name is at Bushwick Gat, G-A-T. I mean, I swear to God, I swear, bro. I don't know how to work that Instagram like that so far, but I got a few pictures up there. I'm be posting up there more often. I'm more on Facebook than Instagram, but I'm at Bushwick Gat at Facebook and Instagram. And Brooklyn's Bonnie and Clyde is coming out soon. And Mogul and Lady Mogul clothing line is coming out soon. Bye, Gat. Salute.
Copy.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
I can tell I'm nice, right? My bad, man.
Yo, listen, man. We locked in, man.
Good today.
Yo, Mark Jackson, to you, man. Peace and blessings to you, man. May Allah reward you and bless you as well. I mean, all right, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night, bro.
You have a good night, brother.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, 050.
Peace. Mikey B,
Mr. Red Diamonds.
Walaikum salam.
Hashtag Daywalkers. I see you.